And make sure you're up to date on your COVID vaccine. A message from the New York State Health Department.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for the past 52 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantique.com.
Oneida County Office of Continuing Care has immediate openings for program nurses, starting at over $55,000. Nurses work a 35-hour week conducting patient screenings and home health assessments. Join our team and make a difference. Apply today at OneidaCountyJobs.com. That's OneidaCountyJobs.com.
We all make resolutions this time of year, and let's face it, most of them won't stick. But here's one that's not only easy to keep, but will help you feel healthier all year long. Navage. Navage provides quick, drug-free nasal relief by washing saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. This time of year, when everyone is sick, Navage helps by sucking out germs, bacteria, and viruses trapped in our noses that cause us to feel miserable. And come allergy season, it does the same with dust, pollen, and other allergens. And unlike medications that can take time to help, if they're effective at all, Navage helps treat congestion symptoms in seconds flat, without drugs. This New Year's, resolve to use drug-free Navage to help you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all year long. Ask for Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or find us online at Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Attention options traders. Are you ready to elevate your game to start 2024 strong? Unlock the power of Vantage Point's artificial intelligence, designed to help you master options trading. Picture this: billions of data points processed automatically so you can fix your timing and find explosive trades. Just text the word demo to 813-813 right now to learn how to do this yourself. Improve your premiums, reduce time decay, and optimize your strike prices with ease. Gain the competitive edge you need by joining this free class. Text DEMO to 813-813. That's DEMO to 813-813. Turbocharge your options trading with Vantage Point. Kick off 2024 on top. Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past results do not guarantee future performance. By texting, you agree to the terms available at VantagePointSoftware.com and consent to receive calls and texts using automated technology about offers or info by or on behalf of Vantage Point. Your consent is not a condition to purchase and can be revoked at any time. Message and data rates may apply. Text DEMO to 813-813.
A lot of Kanoi's energy started to bounce back.
She has a lot of puppy moments, and she'll be 14 this summer.
What did these dog parents do for their dogs? They switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-size bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
It seems like everywhere you look right now, someone is sick. This year, prepare your family for airborne invaders like bacteria, pollen, and yes, germs with Navage Nasal Care. Navage flushes ultra-pure, refreshing saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. Navage sucks out viruses, dust, and other airborne particles, all the stuff that gets trapped in your nose, making you miserable. Don't get caught empty-handed this winter. Get Navage, the drug-free solution that helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier. Even better, Navage is HSA, FSA eligible, so Navage is a great way to spend those funds before they expire. Don't wait a minute longer. Buy Navage today and you'll breathe easier knowing you're putting your funds to good use. Navage is available online at Navage.com or Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
With so many mesothelioma lawyers, how do you choose the right firm for you and your family? I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and here's my advice to you. Do your research. Results matter. Reputation matters. Last year alone, our team recovered over $1 billion for our clients. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited.
Call 800-602-2200. That's 800-602-2200. Call now.
It's time to start the program. It's time to earn our pay. It's time to meet the people on the Keeler Show today.
It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. Started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. I guess there's no way you have to feed me. Right, Davey? You got to feed me that. All right. Well, we'll try to figure it out.
Good morning, Bill.
Well, good morning. We're live here from my basement, or at least I am.
I know.
Andrew Dominio, good morning. Davey, good morning, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Happy New Year to you.
So, I've had COVID since Christmas, and I have been living in my basement, and here we go again. Just when you think this crap is all over with, it hits you once again.
It's
unbelievable.
It's deja vu all over again. The Christmas gift you don't want.
It's like every Christmas, every holiday, every vacation I take, in some way I find a way to catch COVID. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the good news is I'm the only one that's gotten it in my house. I swear to you, my family they're like the Gestapo when it comes to keeping track of me. Like, I can't go upstairs, although I have snuck upstairs just a few times. It's all about don't give it to me. I don't want it. I can't deal with it. I've got to do A, B, and C, and I can't get it, so don't give it to me.
Yeah, they're throwing food down the stairs at you, I think.
Living in the basement. I think I've come to the end. I'm pretty sure I'm at the end. I'm hoping.
That's good. Good. They're throwing. Was it that they're throwing food down to you from the top of the stairs?
Well, my wife will put a mask on and bring down the food. My daughter literally puts the food through the cat door and sets it on the top step of the basement.
Like your cell meal.
That's exactly what it's like. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're starting to feel better.
Listen, it is what it is, and I do think I'm nearing the end. My guess is I don't know that I'll end up in the studio at all this week, but hopefully by next week. This all started for me the day after Christmas.
Wow. So with anybody else in your family that you celebrated Christmas with impacted? I know you said in your immediate household, but any other family members?
Some are vaccinated, right? So I would assume that helps. But nobody else got it, just me. I find that it is amazing how one person, this can be so transmissible. Like I heard of another story. There was a story about the wedding where 150 people at a wedding, they all came home and like 100 of the people at the wedding got COVID.
Yeah.
One person actually died. I heard a story recently. There was another holiday party. I mean, there are a ton of these stories where you go and, 75% of the people at the party all come home. They end up wind up with COVID. Yet you see a family of 5 and one person gets it and nobody else gets it. We have a neighbor who got it. He had it for over a week, and then finally his wife got it. So there's no consistency to this whatsoever. We will talk to Dr. Hall about it a little later on. And, you know, I get it. I've heard from all sorts of people with this when I tell them, hey, I can't do this because I have COVID. I've actually had people say, give me a break. That is nothing like more than a cold. Just, you don't have to worry. You can come on out as long as you feel okay. I don't believe that's the case. And I have another friend who has it right now, who's gone into her chest, and she is struggling tremendously. A mutual friend of ours, Andrew, wound up in the hospital Christmas week. Healthy guy, big into exercise, 4 or 5 days in the hospital. So it affects everybody differently. And why some people get it and others don't, it does not. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's better to stay in the basement there if you're especially if you're showing symptoms. I'd imagine and testing positive. I appreciate that. I did think you were going to be in this morning, but that's just I got a lot on my mind lately. It's been kind of a
Andrew
whirlwind.
Became a fiance over the holiday.
That is correct. I'm very happy to announce I popped the question, and my girlfriend is now my fiance. She finally agreed to it under no duress, Bill.
Listen, I can't even believe that she agreed to it. It's just shocking to me.
Most of her family was too.
No,
I'm kidding.
You guys make a great couple. It's awesome.
Thank you.
So what is the because you've changed this. You are just a sucker. You can't hold out. At first, you had told me we're going on a cruise in February. I'm going to tell her then.
Yes.
Then it's like, I think I might let her know on New Year's Eve.
Right.
Then it's Christmas. And then you were putting pictures out Christmas Eve. So you couldn't wait.
I couldn't, no. And I think a lot of it was a friend got in my ear of hers and said, you know, she's anticipating. She has a suspicion that it's happening the cruise. So I said, well, I gotta surprise her. So there was a good element of surprise coming in. Everybody that would have been on the cruise that was important to her and me, frankly, but really important to her to have been there for it, was there for Christmas Eve that would have been on the cruise, plus a couple other of her family members. So it was a really good surprise pulled off. I couldn't wait any longer. And when you know, Bill.
When you know, you know. I guess you're right. Well, congratulations. That is awesome. Do you have a plan for when the wedding will be?
Nothing solid in concrete now, but we're shooting for early this time next year, 2025.
Okay. Right.
So, I don't want to reveal too many details yet, but we're going to be already in the planning mode. It's crazy. Okay. Everybody says, oh, you just got engaged, don't rush. And then people say, venues are booking up for the next 2 years. So we're like, oh, my gosh, we got to get going on this thing.
So it's funny because for me, this was 25 years ago when I want to say I proposed to my wife, Allison. However, I really didn't propose. We were just kind of lying there. And I was like, we probably wouldn't be a bad idea just to get married. and we had this conversation that went on for another 3 or 4 minutes, and all of a sudden we decided we were going to get married.
That's still an awesome way to do it because it's an authentic moment. You hear a lot of people talk about that. That's how it happens for a lot of people. They're just kind of sitting around.
Absolutely no plan prior to that. Anyway, that is until the question, if you will, was popped. So the next day, and at the time she was my radio producer, we went to work. We didn't talk about it. Actually, we didn't talk about it for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, didn't reveal it. We revealed it in Ed Hanna's office when he was mayor on April Fool's Day, which sent everybody all wondering whether or not it was real.
Yeah.
Anyway, nonetheless, so the next day, we do the show. Everything goes good. At that time, I did all my work at the station, so now it's around noon. And Allison walks down into the studio and said, I've got an appointment for 3 o'clock today. We have to be at Lennon's, W.B. Wilcox Jewelers. I'm like, don't you think you're rushing it a little bit? This is way too fast.
I got stuff to do here. I'm busy.
I'm telling you, she had her gown. This was like on a Monday. We had the ring by Tuesday night and the gown by Thursday. The wedding happened in August, or September 5th, actually, is when the wedding was. And the rest is history. She moved very, very quickly.
Yeah. And
are you hearing that noise that pops through?
Yes, just the email. Okay. It was like the email chime.
Figure that out.
But yeah, that's I do have to give a shout out, a little bit of a plug over at Melissa over at Lennon's. She took good care of me. I told her what my fiance wanted, and she delivered, and she was very, very happy. So it's all good.
So can I ask which one you went to? Because it's like a competition on TV.
Yeah, no, it was the WB Wilcox,
the
original.
That's where we went, with a little maroon box, right?
Oh, yeah. And this one had, so when Melissa over there had given me the box, or when I had picked up the ring from the store, she gave me the box with a light in it. So it was kind of funny because, I had told her this is going to be on a cruise, so we didn't know if it was going to be at dinner in a dimly lit restaurant or something like that. So she gave me this box with a cool light in it. So the first thing she says when I get down on the knee in front of the Christmas tree and open the box, she says, "Oh, it lights up." It's just so funny to look back at the video of it happening, and it's just you don't really remember what happens in the moment until you go back and review it. But it was well taken care of.
After 25 years, trust me, you won't remember any of it, except for the part where we were sitting there lying in bed and decided, hey, why don't we just get married?
Yeah.
Try to remember as much of it as you can. Okay, wow, a lot of stuff happened over the last week. It has been certainly very busy since we had that amazing Christmas show on Friday. Let's see, I wanted to bring up Richard this morning. From yesterday, I got a message. What an amateur, half-ass program this is. You're not even back today. You've taken another day of vacation.
I'd expect nothing less from Richard.
So I'm like, Richard, it's not like I've chosen to not be there. I've been in bed for a week and a half. So, nonetheless,
and we were going to try this.
We were just taking another day. I will tell you that I feel like I'd like a vacation because lying in your basement on a bed that pulls out from the couch, which must be the most uncomfortable bed I've ever slept in. I have more back problems now than I did before COVID, and it has nothing to do with COVID. But I'll also say that I am now an expert on all of World War II. I have watched I have watched more television and finished and closed out more episodes and series than you would ever believe. I can't believe the amount of TV that I've watched, because one of the things that came with this is I couldn't sleep, which is odd. I would end up feeling all tired during the day, so sleep got all screwed up. So at night, I'm just sitting there. And what do? You just watch TV for hours and hours. I'm watching television. But I can tell you, I've seen World War II in high definition. I've seen World War II in color, by the way. There's a new series out there where you can watch it in HD color. I watched that. Have you seen the series about the dwarf girl who the family adopted, and they tried to pretend that she was 22 years old and not 7?
No, but
that's a great one. I'll talk about that, and maybe we'll talk about it with Willie Waffle. I swiped through all of that.
Wow. Deep dive.
I just went in. I went down 3 or 4 different rabbit holes. We'll talk about all of it, but I feel like I'm an expert, especially when it comes to World War II, after sitting here and watching TV for a week.
So
long week.
If you haven't already, if you haven't made it through all of your Hulu streaming, Hannah and I just got through The Act. And I think it's an older series, but it's kind of resurfaced in relevance. It's about that Gypsy Rose Blanchard, which is the story of the young girl.
I've been watching it on the news. I've not seen.
You got to watch it.
I know the documentary is new and out.
And this is actually Patricia Arquette and another actress. They did like a dramatized limited series that's not really in documentary form. It's it's based on real events, but some of the characters and events are fictionalized. But it's basically the story of how this mother basically had her daughter convinced, or told her daughter for a while and other people, that she was sick. She had all these ailments, that she couldn't walk, that she was in a wheelchair. And basically the premise is that the girl, this Gypsy Rose, discovered that she was basically being medically abused, and she met this guy on the internet, and she asked him to kill her mother. And she just now got released after 8 years because her defense was...
Yeah, it's all over the news.
Yeah, so she just got released at the end of 2023. So we were like, well, we got to watch this. And it was like...
Yeah, she's just out. She's been offered all of these jobs from strip clubs, and
yeah,
she's which she's not taking advantage of. But her Instagram account has instantly, after she got out of jail... She has like over 7 million followers on Instagram right now.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And by the way, she got married while she was in jail.
Yeah, she is married, and she hopes to start a family, and hopefully one a little bit more, or I should say a little less dysfunctional than, unfortunately, the one she was in.
So I'm trying to come up with the title of the. Do you know the title of the dwarf situation?
Somebody just messaged
to poison and kill adoptive mom, and then it went nuts after that. Do you know the title of it?
It's somebody's saying Natalie Grace might be the
it might be the story
girl.
of Natalie. But now there's a new version of it out, 4 episodes, I believe it's 4, and it's called Natalie Grace or Natalie Speaks, and she tells her side of the story. I don't want to do any spoiler here, but let me tell you, this might be the craziest series I've ever watched, the craziest real story I've ever seen in my life. It's unbelievable, and it's all there with everybody testifying except for the mother. When I say testifying, they're a part of the documentary. It's well worth watching.
Yeah, IMDb is pulling it up right now. The Curious Case of Natalia Grace.
That's season 1. The Curious Case of Natalia. What is it?
Natalia Grace.
And then season 2 is Natalia Speaks, and it's on HBO Max.
Interesting.
So you can check it out, and it is. You'll get stuck in it. It was actually I went through one season, one night while living my life in the basement here. So pretty wild. All right, there's a lot to talk about. Hold tight. We'll come back here. And we have a whole bunch to get to. A lot of things, of course, happened. A lot of swearing-in ceremonies occurring. Of course, both Rome and Utica have new mayors. Little Falls has a new mayor. A lot to speak about there. We'll talk to Dr. Hall a little later on this morning. What else do we have this morning? Dr. Hall is on. Tanya Powers in a few minutes. Another college president has stepped down. This time it's Harvard. No. I'm way back in December.
No, it is.
What do we have coming up today, Andrew?
No, Tanya J. Powers is. It was a while ago that the congressional hearing took place, but the Harvard president, Claudine Gay, did announce her resignation as Harvard's president. She will stay on as faculty there, but her time as president.
I'm on the right sheet now. But Tanya is coming up to talk about that issue, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
That's
we
wild
also
that
have.
I went back to December 12th, and there was Tanya talking about the congressional hearing that occurred. Now the president of Harvard becomes the second of the 3 who testified to step down. Hobica's free money question of the day. I don't know if you saw that crash at the Mo concert. Turns out the guy is from central New York, from the Syracuse area.
Yes.
Scott from Kirkville. Syracuse played last night. We'll talk with Davey about that. And Buffalo's odds of getting into the playoffs. Wait till you hear the numbers after their win over the Patriots, and a huge game coming up this weekend. Ryan Nobles is on as well. We'll talk to Randy Corbin, by the way, on that Mo concert. Randy used to work at WIBX and is now out in Rochester. We'll speak with him. Tanya Powers coming right up in a few minutes. Stand by. Coming right back on a Wednesday morning at WIBX.
28 years ago, Lori Potasowicz had a dream. With a natural love for pets, she wanted to become an expert groomer. So she set out to become the area's only nationally certified master groomer and launched her business, one paw at a time. With grooming expertise and a lot of loving care, Lori and her talented team began caring for pets one paw at a time. Cuts, shampoos, and styling, one paw at a time. Teeth and nails with no detail overlooked from head to toe, one paw at a time. Getting to know each each and every dog and cat by name, the One Paw at a Time family grew, and Lori had a decision to make. Keep expanding? She followed her heart and decided to keep the One Paw family atmosphere just the way it is, so she can keep taking care of the pets she knows and loves, one paw at a time. Lori and her team want to thank the families they serve for putting their trust in them to care for their four-legged family members, one paw at a time. 320 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro near Woods Road. One Paw appreciates your understanding for their current waiting list for new customers.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs.
Can you hear me?
An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-990-8755 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-990-8755. That's 800-990-8755. What do you have to lose? Call 800-990-8755. Again, 800-990-8755.
It seems like everywhere you look right now, someone is sick. This year, prepare your family for airborne invaders
Andrew's
like
trying to
bacteria,
call you. You
pollen,
got something
and
going
yes,
on with your phone?
germs with Navage Nasal Care. Navage flushes ultra-pure,
Andrew's trying
refreshing
to call you.
saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. Navage sucks out viruses, dust, and other airborne particles, all the stuff that gets trapped in your nose, making you miserable. Don't get caught empty-handed this winter. Get Navage, the drug-free solution that helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier. Even better, Navage is HSA, FSA eligible, so Navage is a great way to spend those funds before they expire. Don't wait a minute longer. Buy Navage today and you'll breathe easier knowing you're putting your funds to good use. Navage is available online at Navage.com or Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
For a limited time at Mattress Express, qualified buyers will get 60 months to pay on any purchase $1,500 or higher with no money down. That includes all brands of mattresses in the store and massage chairs. See store for details.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, Andrew, so if you can let me know here, we're dealing with, Tanya's going to be calling me.
Yes, Tanya will call you, and all guests will call you this morning.
Lovely. I got to tell you something. I made this, I've come to the conclusion that if you're trying to lose weight, this is my New Year's 2024 resolution.
Okay.
And it's a stupid conclusion because it's something that we all know. And you just kind of tell yourself, well, it'll be fine. I can do it. So I've come to the conclusion. Have I added reverb to this? Sorry. I've come to the conclusion that you can't lose weight and drink alcohol.
Yeah, well,
right? In fact, Andrew, you lost weight.
Yeah, well, I found it
when you stopped drinking alcohol.
But then I found another way to find it. Actually, it's 2 years ago today. Actually, today is officially 2 years. So,
did you have some big thing on New Year's Eve that was like explosion? Like, I will never drink again, and that's what did it? Was there some event that happened for you?
Fortunately, not. And it was actually our good buddy Steve Nuno. I started training with him again back in 2021, or no, it would have been 2022. The top of 2022. I was going to do a dry January, and I was going to work out and take the month off because I was going a little hard there, and I said, I'm going to take the month off and see how that, to kind of kickstart, as you were kind of talking about just now, to kickstart that weight loss. And I remember it was January 31st, and I was working out with him. And I said, well, tomorrow I get to have a drink. And he just looks at me and says, why would you do that? I said, we're making so much progress here, and you're doing good. You'd set yourself back, weeks. So I never looked back. I just kind of said, hey, I kind of like this not drinking thing.
So I think that I will. Yeah, it's hard. You go out, you're out at a party, right? I mean, you deal with that all the time. And anybody that doesn't drink and used to drink probably goes through that. But for me and being sick all week long, the one thing that doesn't, number one, nothing tastes good.
Yeah.
And I'm now pulling out of that. In fact, I'm actually gnawing on a piece of cold pizza right now.
So now you're just binging everything you can.
Right now, I'm going to go in the other direction. But anyway, so I've used this as a jump start to be able to say I'm really kicking in to, I'm going to follow the diet that I know, and it works. You can have, the way I did it the last time I lost 50 pounds, and then I've gained it all back. I might have had 1 or 2 drinks a week. If we went out somewhere, I might have had a cocktail with my wife or something, but that was it. And very careful about what I have. I drink vodka on the rocks, so it's one of the lowest in calorie, but it's still, all that turns to sugar in your body. And if you're trying to do a no carb, even though that's lower in carbs, it just turns to sugar. And the other part of it is, after a couple of drinks, what happens, Andrew?
Yeah, well, you just put it on.
Well, you raid the refrigerator.
Oh yeah, no, that's
the worst. Your inhibition is lowered, and you just blow it.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, I'm using this as my my kickstart, and my goal is to really go all in and lose the weight, so I feel better, because it's not about. I'm always, it seems, on a diet, and everybody reaches out to me and says, this one isn't safe. You should do this one. You should. I'm doing what I do, and it will include cutting almost entirely back on alcohol, and to have a nightcap or something like that. I can't do that when I'm trying to lose weight. Anyway, so there is a website that I found. It was advertising during the Syracuse game last night. I can't believe this. It's called Healthy Wage.
Healthy Wage. Okay. All right.
So what it basically is you bet the website that you can lose the weight, and they. Oh, actually, she's calling me, and for some reason my phone is not ringing.
Yeah, she's having
Andrew,
trouble.
Talk about healthy
Well, this
wage.
Healthy Wage, I'm going to have to look this up now. So because I need a little bit of a, I need a little.
Tanya, is that you? Yeah. All right, stand by. I'm coming right with you.
I need a little bit of a boost myself because whether I like it or not, I'm running a half marathon at the end of the month to kick off that cruise I was telling you about. So I've got to shed a few because, as much to my chagrin, I was trying to find an outfit for a party that happened.
Yeah, you couldn't, and you fit into nothing, right?
I couldn't fit into anything. Yeah.
So this website is called healthywage.com. You go to it. You answer a few questions. You tell them how much weight you want to lose, when you want to lose it, and they'll bet you. But the problem is you got to put up a wager. So, for instance, I did it last night, and I'm not going to do this, by the way, because it seems the payoff is not big. So I'd be losing 50 pounds by the end of May, which is a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
I'd have to pay $100 a month, and at the end, if I did, they would pay me the $100 a month back and $500.
Wow.
You literally are, and you can look it up. It's healthywage.com. I'm not sure you want to do it, but I found that is a kind of an interesting way of inspiring people, because guess what? If you don't lose the 50 pounds, you lose the $100 a month, and you don't win the money back. You don't win the prize.
I like this.
So keep that in mind. All right, let me go to Tanya J. Powers from Fox News. Tanya, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So back in the basement I am. COVID. Had it since Christmas.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's just, the good news is I seem to handle it okay, other than just being fatigued and in bed for a week and a half. Whereas some people, it goes to their chest and they can't breathe, and much worse than that. But nonetheless, it shuts you down. This stuff is going around.
Yeah, I am so sorry to hear that.
Let's talk about. I really thought that in the case of Harvard, that I didn't expect her to step down, but she apparently has had enough, and she is stepping down.
Yeah, this is something that came out yesterday. I think it did surprise several people. She announced her resignation. Of course, this follows the congressional hearing last month. There was some answers that she had given that just did not set well with a lot of people. The December 5th congressional hearing, she testified along with Elizabeth McGill, the former president of the University of Pennsylvania, as well as Sally Kornbluth, Dr. Kornbluth, the president of MIT. And basically, they had what a lot of people called lawyerly answers when they were asked about chants and anti-Semitic behavior, things like that. They did not give answers that a lot of people liked, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of fallout after that. I said former president of University of Pennsylvania because Elizabeth McGill stepped down about 4 days after all of that happened. Dr. Gay of Harvard had, initially there was a big long meeting, by the people who decide these kinds of things. And they decided to, keep her on at Harvard and, put out a show of support for her. There was actually hundreds of, faculty and students and people who had signed open letters supporting her, lending her support basically after all that happened. Then there started to be kind of this, it seemed like a kind of a plagiarism campaign against her. There were accusations that had circulated. It had kind of been going around on message boards and things like that, sort of secretive, anonymous stuff online for a few weeks. And then the Washington Free Beacon, which is a conservative online journal, sort of led that campaign over the last several weeks as well. There was an activist that published an essay, I think in recent days, highlighting some more of the plagiarism concerns. And, finally she said, okay, I'm going to step down. She is going to stay on as faculty, a member of the faculty. Dr. Alan Garber, who is an economist and physician, he is the provost at Harvard as well as the chief academic officer. He will be the interim president of Harvard in her place.
So you're seeing, obviously, Elise Stefanik is playing quite the role here, saying, well, she's saying she played quite the role, as she is touting online that 2 down, 1 more to go.
Yeah, she. I think the headline I saw was, or one of the pieces I saw said, conservative lawmakers are tripping over themselves to take credit.
Yeah.
Which does seem kind of the case. There are any number of people who are saying, that they had a hand in that. I think, one of the reasons she's obviously referring to that is the back and forth she had with Dr. Claudine Gay. And she, it gave her some tough questions during the congressional hearing. And part of that, kind of went viral for, the back and forth question and answer. I think one of the other pieces of all of this is the role that billionaire donors played in this. Bill Ackman is one of the names that you may not have heard, but he is one of the donors that said that, okay, you need to go. As a matter of fact, I believe on yesterday, he actually was on X and posted something, to basically say, okay, MIT president Sally Kornbluth, you're next. So it's obviously a concerted effort because, he went after both of the presidents that have already, stepped down.
Yep.
And I think that's also a part of this that people may not realize that, the donors are definitely playing a role.
Very interesting stuff. And it's, by all means, it's not over yet. It does seem that way. So, all right, Tanya, well, happy 2024.
Thank you. You too, and I hope it gets going better for you.
Oh, I was one of the ones saying I can't wait for this year to be over with. A new start for 2024, and I started in my basement. A little deja vu here for me. So, what are you going to do? All right. Have a wonderful day. Thank you as always. We appreciate it. All right, Tanya J. Powers from Fox News. All right, Andrew, did that work okay? You got
that sounded good.
You got her?
That sounded good. I think you're still on the Do Not Disturb, which is why you may not be getting those calls. So
I'm not on Do Not Disturb. I don't know why this is happening with my phone, but I'm not getting anything. I'm going to restart it. But since the last update, something's going on. But it is what it is. Let me go through some news items. Of course, we'll get in next hour to that story about Rochester. And so, Andrew, there's a Mo concert, New Year's Eve, right?
Right, yes.
And people are coming out of the arena, and this guy who they say has no ties to terrorism, who has no clear ideology on, I mean, why would you go after a Mo concert? These people at these concerts are just out freewheeling, having a great time. The Mo audience is such an audience that I can't imagine it making anybody angry, right?
Right, they're very peace-loving and friendly people, yes.
So, of course, his vehicle's loaded with gasoline. He plowed into a vehicle, and then, which 2 people died in a ride-sharing vehicle, and then, of course, plowed into that vehicle, and his vehicle plowed into people coming out of the concert. Terrible story. But we'll get into that with a reporter from Rochester coming up in a little bit. We'll get into your comments, have a whole bunch of those as well. We'll get into that next hour, along with Hobica's free money question of the day. Davey, your take on the Buffalo Bills win. Again, winning a game where they didn't play all that well, but they found a way to win.
Yeah, the defense is the one that won the game. Josh Allen in the offense didn't do nothing.
Well, that defense was unbelievable, and I just turnover after turnover. And, listen, when you're playing Belichick, expect him to – there is one thing that he does better than anybody else, and that is to design the offense and defense against the team that he is playing. And as rough as it has been for the Patriots – they've been pretty hot as of late, the end of the season here.
Yeah, and the balloon busted as soon as they ran back that kickoff, the first possession. I said, "Oh boy, here we go."
Here's another little piece. After the win over the Patriots, now the Bills will play the Miami Dolphins on Sunday night on NBC. The winner of that game wins the division. That's pretty huge. Of course, that would mean the Bills will go to the playoffs, and they'll be the number 2 seed.
Right.
However, if they lose, they need, Pittsburgh and which team?
Jacksonville.
One of those teams to lose.
But if the
Bills lose and both Jacksonville and Pittsburgh win, the Bills don't make the playoffs.
Right.
That is a crazy swing if you think about it. And I was telling Smitty this. I was telling Smitty this yesterday. You're either going to be the 2 seed in the AFC playoff picture, or you're not. You could still make it in if one of those teams lose. But the worst case scenario is you don't make the playoffs.
Don't even make the playoffs.
And I think that one of the things too that Buffalo has to their advantage is, they say defense wins championships, and if you're going to stop Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, you're going to need a strong defense, and they're playing really well.
And the Steelers play the Ravens on Saturday at 4:00, and there's rumors that they might not even play half of their starters. Jackson might not even play.
Who does Jacksonville have?
Jacksonville, I'll have to check on that.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, I think, has Tennessee.
Well, and they're fighting to get in, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's at least that's a game the Bills can count on getting some effort from both teams here.
So,
but Jacksonville is going to be trying to get into the playoffs.
So if the Steelers,
the only way to me,
you got to win.
The only clear way is to win and beat Miami, which is a struggling team right now as of late. And, the Miami Dolphins, while they don't need all that, they've made the playoffs, but they will not be the number 2 seed if they lose to Buffalo. So Miami's got something to play for.
Right.
So it's going to be that'll be an interesting game. But all the odds makers say the Bills' chances of making the playoffs, believe it or not, is at 93% right now.
Wow.
That's pretty high. I'm not sure I completely agree with that. I would see it a little closer to 50-50 than than a 90% chance. Yesterday at Proctor, there was a lock-in that occurred at Proctor High School. Apparently, it was because of a package that had been delivered to the school. Did you see that story, Andrew?
Yeah, I actually reached out to Mike Curley yesterday. He had told me that it was a bit of a false alarm, that there was some suspicion going on, but everything ended up being okay. So thank God for that.
Okay, I'm trying to see here where we are on time here.
We're right up against it.
News is next on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
2 Trump appeals. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. One to keep him on a ballot, the other to get him off the hook. Now, in that filing, the former president's lawyers are urging a federal appeals court to grant him presidential immunity in a Trump attempt to have the charges dropped in the federal 2020 election-related indictment. The Trump campaign also appealing to Maine Superior Court, trying to overturn the Secretary of State's decision to take the former president off Maine's primary ballot, similar to a Colorado court ruling that's on hold pending a Republican Party appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Some Democrats say Colorado and Maine got it right, that in the plain reading of the 14th Amendment, Trump disqualified himself from running again when he refused to accept his election loss. Other Democrats, like California Governor Gavin Newsom, say the former president should be defeated at the ballot box, not in a courtroom.
That's Fox's Rich Edson. Trump Republican challengers like Ron DeSantis also think he should stay on the ballots.
And I've been very clear about both of those decisions in those states. It's not consistent with the Constitution. I do expect them to get reversed.
The bribery case against Democratic Senator Bob Menendez has been bolstered, accusing Menendez of involving a member of Qatar's royal family to help a co-defendant.
The indictment does not add new charges, but does give new details, saying Menendez took cash and gold bars for facilitating that investment.
That's Fox's Gernal Scott. President Biden's back from his St. Croix vacation, and when he returned last night, he said Congress needs to give him more money to secure the border. Dozens of House Republicans will be in Eagle Pass, Texas today, including Mark Molinaro, who tells Fox.
It is true utter chaos, and the president continues to ignore what is a national and humanitarian crisis at our southern border.
Last month, there was a record number of migrants encountered crossing the border illegally. As the war rages in Gaza, Israel is on high alert for a possible retaliation from Hezbollah militants in Lebanon, where an Israeli strike killed a senior Hamas leader. America's listening to Fox News.
Markets are trembling. Don't be a casualty of economic upheaval. Do what I did and embrace the safety of gold. Talk to the experts at Noble Gold Investments today, and you can claim a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin. With gold at an all-time high, you need to jump on this. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time, 7:03. I'm Andrew Dominio. Right now we're at 32 degrees still under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. The driver of the vehicle that caused a fiery crash in Rochester on New Year's Day has been identified. He's a Syracuse man. Authorities say 35-year-old Michael Avery drove a Ford Expedition filled with gas cans into a rideshare vehicle and also a group of pedestrians outside the Kodak Center on Monday. Avery, 29-year-old Joshua Orr, and 28-year-old Justina Hughes all died, and several other people were injured. The FBI and law enforcement are asking anyone with information on the case to contact them at 585-428-7157. The Oneida County Sheriff's Office is identifying the driver of a tractor-trailer that was involved in a fatal motor vehicle accident on New Year's Eve. He's been identified as 46-year-old Getachew Mangasha of Rochester, New York. That's according to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. A portion of Route 8 in the town of Bridgewater was shut down for hours Sunday morning after that incident, shortly after 6:30 a.m. Members of the legislature of New York State will be back at the state capitol in Albany today to kick off their brand new legislative session. The first few weeks will likely focus on working out an agreement on the new state budget that is due April 1st. Other issues that might be discussed and voted on include housing production, health care, cannabis reform, and improving the environment. This year's legislative session is set to wrap up in June. With exercising more being a top priority for people at the start of the new year, the State Division of Consumer Protection is offering tips to help folks avoid gym membership mistakes. It's recommended people review any contract before signing it and to be aware of add-on fees. Knowing termination fees is important if anyone decides to cancel their membership. State law also requires businesses with auto renewal programs to disclose terms of those offers when consumers are enrolling. And a woman who was involved in a hit and run nearly 3 years ago has now found out the punishment for her crime. Yesterday, a judge sentenced Rolanda Campbell to 5 years behind bars for intentionally striking 2 people with her car on West Bissell Street in Syracuse back in March of 21. Both victims needed treatment for their injuries but ended up surviving. This past August, Campbell pleaded guilty to both assault and DWI. WIBX 950 News Time is 7:06. Your weather forecast is according to Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint, brought to you by Country Suburban.
My Witness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, mostly cloudy, breezy, lake snow and snow showers, especially north. Light spotty flurries locally, a high of 38. Tonight, cloudy, scattered snow showers, low 28. And tomorrow, blustery, turning much colder with snow showers and embedded squalls through the morning, tapering to a few flurries by afternoon as temperatures fall into the 20s. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. Our meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
32 degrees, mostly cloudy skies at 7:07. From the IBEW 43 local sports desk, the 5-game winning streak of the Syracuse University men's basketball team has been snapped after the team suffers a blowout loss on the road. Malik Brown led the Orange with 26 points as his team was beaten by the Duke Blue Devils 86-66 at Cameron Indoor Stadium in North Carolina. The loss dropped SU's record this season to 10-4. Up next for the Orange's game next Wednesday against Boston College. And Smitty, it seems the 3-point Achilles heel, as Syracuse has been known to have in the past years, had come back to bite them last night.
This game was turnovers.
17, well,
and you can't win on 17 turnovers.
Yeah, no, that's unacceptable. But it's still a young team, right, relatively, and
yeah,
their new head coach will get them back in gear. I still think this Syracuse team has some problems. Yeah, I can hear you, Bill.
Let me just say, I understand they had a lot of turnovers, but during the turnovers, Davey, they were playing with Duke.
Yes, they were.
You can't win a game when the opposing team goes like 10 for 10 in the second half outside the 3-point line. Duke they went on fire and started nailing 3-pointers after being zero 3-pointers in the first half. That was the big difference in that game.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a difficult thing when you're facing.
They couldn't miss.
No,
it was unbelievable.
Yeah. To the NFL, I can't believe Week 18 is almost here, and the Giants could be part of history on Sunday, Bill. If the G-Men are able to score 2 passing touchdowns against the Eagles, it will become the most passing touchdowns allowed by a playoff team in league history. Philadelphia, who clinched a playoff berth despite their skid recently, they enter Week 18 having surrendered 34 passing touchdowns this season. Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, and Tyrod Taylor have combined to throw 14 touchdown passes for New York, which is third in the NFC East at 5-11. The Jets are parting ways with a veteran playmaker, 4-time Pro Bowl running back Delvin Cook. It's shocking that he did not have more of a presence for the Jets offense this year, but he was waived on Tuesday. And according to ESPN, the move was mutually agreed upon as he also restructured his contract to forfeit remaining guarantees. Cook is now eligible to sign with another team ready to make a playoff run. The 28-year-old is subject to a 24-hour waiver period. Cook has played in only 15 games this season and carried the ball only 67 times for 214 yards. The Jets signed Cook during the preseason to a one-year, $7 million contract with $5.8 million guaranteed. Also, this is kind of a crazy story. The owner of the Carolina Panthers, who has just made a series of bad decisions, now this one's actually costing him money. Carolina Panthers owner David Tepper was fined $300,000 by the NFL due to unacceptable conduct during his team's Week 17 loss to the Jaguars. Tepper had been caught on video throwing a drink into the direction of the stands from his open-air suite at Everbank Stadium. Tepper said in a statement he regrets his behavior. The Panthers have gone 31-67 since Tepper bought the team in 2018. So, I mean, it's just you can't make this stuff up. You really can't. WIBX 950 news time is 7:10. We still have a lot of show to get to. Bill's in the basement. Smitty and I are here in studio. We got a jam-packed show still to come for you in the 7 o'clock hour, especially right here on First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
The most important thing for me is service after the sale. Collis has been around for a long time. They've been a standard, a pillar in the community, and it's very important to me that when I need service down the road, I will be able to get that with a firm that's here and will be here. It makes my home so much more comfortable. It's quiet. Every room is evenly heated, and you can feel zero draft coming in through the doors and the windows from before. Should have been done years ago. I recommend them to anybody.
Improve your comfort with a free home energy assessment by Collis. Visit fredfcollis.com.
Hey, Jen. OMG, look how busy it is in here. How'd you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you'd think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Attention options traders. Are you ready to elevate your game to start 2024 strong? Unlock the power of Vantage Point's artificial intelligence, designed to help you master options trading. Picture this: billions of data points processed automatically so you can fix your timing and find explosive trades. Just text the word demo to 813-813 right now to learn how to do this yourself. Improve your premiums, reduce time decay, and optimize your strike prices with ease. Gain the competitive edge you need by joining this free class. Text DEMO to 813-813. That's DEMO to 813-813. Turbocharge your options trading with Vantage Point. Kick off 2024 on top. Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past results do not guarantee future performance. By texting, you agree to the terms available at VantagePointSoftware.com and consent to receive calls and texts using automated technology about offers or info by or on behalf of Vantage Point. Your consent is not a condition to purchase and can be revoked at any time. Message and data rates may apply. Text DEMO to 813-813.
We all make resolutions this time of year, and let's face it, most of them won't stick. But here's one that's not only easy to keep, but will help you feel healthier all year long. Navage. Navage provides quick, drug-free nasal relief by washing saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. This time of year, when everyone is sick, Navage helps by sucking out germs, bacteria, and viruses trapped in our noses that cause us to feel miserable. And come allergy season, it does the same with dust, pollen, and other allergens. And unlike medications that can take time to help, if they're effective at all, Navage helps treat congestion symptoms in seconds flat, without drugs. This New Year's, resolve to use drug-free Navage to help you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all year long. Ask for Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or find us online at Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 800 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 800. LumeDeodorant.com, code 800 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 800.
At Mattress Express, get a queen flex head bed with adjustable base and a set of sheets for $14.99. Qualified buyers get no money down and up to 60 months to pay. A flex head bed is where each head goes up and down independently, but it's still one solid mattress. See store for details.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, here we go for a Wednesday morning. And, of course, post-holiday, once again, I find myself in the basement with COVID. I've had it since Christmas time. Good times. Down the line right now is Dr. Kent Hall from Wynn Hospital. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry that you're not feeling well, and I certainly hope that you get better soon.
Well, you know, I have to say I feel that while there's woe is me, and I'm the best at that probably, says my wife, there were many stories over the holiday break, just tragic stories of people, whether winding up in the hospital with COVID or something else, heart attack stories, people losing their lives. I am in far better shape and really have, other than the annoyance of this, have nothing to complain about.
Yeah, I would say, you know, we seem to have gone through a rash. A lot of folks who know people from the, you know, within the health system, whether they're, you know, our own employees or, you know, other folks that have relationships with the health system. It was just a bad set of you know, 7 or 10 days in terms of people's health and stuff. So, you know, I just hope that you know, everybody, you know, does what they need to do in terms of being safe and of taking care of themselves and taking care of their loved ones. You know, everybody hug everybody else right now is what I would say. So
yeah, I do agree. There are some really sad stories out there of unexpected deaths that occurred over the course of the last couple of weeks, and it's pretty darn sad. Let's talk about what is out there and what is affecting people and how transmissible all of this seems to be right now.
Yeah, so let's start with what we always talk about, I guess, for the last 3 or 4 years, which is COVID. So as of yesterday, the health system had 35 patients in the Wynn Hospital that had COVID. So this was obviously, that's a significant increase in the number of patients that we have that have COVID. In addition, we have a significant number of patients, 9 patients that had the flu, and we had 7 patients that had the respiratory syncytial virus. So the respiratory viruses are definitely going around. And I would say, if we look at the trends over the last 3 years, that the hospitalizations for COVID over the next 5 to 7 days will probably go up because that's what happens. Remember, hospitalizations are a lagging indicator. They are delayed from when people get sick. Then people come into the hospital. So the last 2 years, the highest rate has been the second week in January, which is next week. So we anticipate that those numbers are going to go up. We are evaluating what we're doing in terms of protecting everybody. If the question is, are masks on the table? Yes, we are evaluating whether we should be doing some kind of masking. I think that we will get better information over the next probably 4 or 5 hours, and with that, we will make a decision on that direction. We have been looking at what other hospitals in the area are doing, and with very few exceptions, I think only one exception, everybody else is masking in some way, shape, or form.
It's kind of interesting because I have heard. I had a conversation with one person who's older, and they said, I wore a mask. I don't care. I wore a mask, and everybody when I walked in said, "What are you doing wearing a mask? Give me a break." I would say, do not feel intimidated by anybody. If you feel like you're in if you're in jeopardy, or you feel like you're potentially someone who could have a rough bout with COVID, or if you just don't want it, you don't want to deal with it, whether it be COVID or flu or whatever, if you feel like wearing a mask, wear a mask. I have no tolerance for people that are making fun of others because they're trying to be careful.
Yeah, and the reality is that masks do two things. Now, again, they are not 100%. So, and the whole thing, people wear masks and they get sick anyway. They are not a panacea, but they do protect the wearer from. They do decrease the transmission because they protect the wearer, and if the wearer happens to be shedding virus, whether they're having symptoms or not, they're also protecting everybody around them. And so when people talk to me about it, when I'm out and I'm wearing a mask and people are talking to me about it, I'm like, hey, I'm doing this for you.
Right.
Yes, I'm doing it for me too, but I'm also doing it for you. So. Well,
and you're right. I mean, if it improves your chances by whatever percentage. Is there a percentage? If it betters your situation, if you're wearing a mask for you, if it protects you by what percent? You got to be better off than you are not wearing it, I would think.
Yeah.
I think I'm losing you all of a sudden.
Percentage is a little bit of a moving target because it's a range.
Yeah.
But the number that people tend to fall on is around 70%. So there's a 70% decrease in transmission with people that wear a medical grade mask. And so that's what I would say is that, I'm decreasing the chance of you getting it by 70%. I'm decreasing the chance that I get it by 70%.
Okay. Now, the other part of this is we still, symptoms are a little bit different here. And it still is confusing why some people get it, other people don't. In my household, I'm the only one that has it. And I mean, we've been careful since I came down and finally tested. I knew when I tested that I had it, which is why I tested. I just had a feeling. This is my 4th time having it. I am not vaccinated currently, which may or may not play a role. I guess it probably would have played a role. But, why is it that some get it, some don't? Why is it that some get it, it goes into their chest, and others don't deal with that? Some end up in the hospital. Others don't even know they have it. It is so very confusing.
Yes, it is. And this is true really of so many diseases, especially infectious diseases. Some people, because of their genetics and the ability of their immune system to immediately recognize what I would call a foreign invader and to fight them off so that they get minimally sick. Other people, that response is not as rapid or as vigorous. And so what happens is that the invader, in this case the virus, kind of takes hold, and then they get sicker. And there are aspects to people from a genetic standpoint. Some people are just more susceptible to having infectious diseases, and then there are others where it's because of other diseases that they have that impede their immune response, or it's because the organs that are targeted by this particular virus, which first and foremost are the lungs. If you have issues with your lungs, emphysema, asthma, things like that, then you're going to be more prone to having more severe symptoms. Even if your immune system can actually fight it off. And so, there are a lot of personal specific issues, and then there are also disease specific issues. So in some people, they only get a small what we call an inoculum, or a small dose of the virus, whereas others, because of the environment that they're in, tend to get a larger dose. And so the larger the dose, the more opportunity the virus has for gaining a foothold. So there are a lot of variables to it, and unfortunately we always try to distill it down to be as simple as possible. But respiratory disease in general, medicine in general, and respiratory diseases specifically are not simple to understand or to try and navigate through. I would say the same is true of the flu, and the same is true of RSV. The only difference is that with what's going on with COVID and the transmissibility of it, it is much more transmissible than the flu. And with RSV, many people had RSV, and the immunity from that tends to last longer. And so, because there is less change in the RSV virus itself, and so that makes it less of a significant issue for people.
Andrew, am I missing you on anything? Are you in there still?
No, I'm here. I'm just paying attention intently.
As being in the basement, we have a few technical issues that we work through here to make this all happen. So bear with us on that. I have to say, what are your thoughts on the two medicines that are out there, Paxlovid and what's the other one for COVID?
I know of Paxlovid, which is a good. It's a dual medication, and it is effective if it is given early. There are reports of what's called a rebound effect, because it's a 5-day course. But in general, that's actually not so much a rebound effect. It's just that some people need a longer course, which is why if you do start to have worsening symptoms immediately after taking Paxlovid, then you should actually take a second course of it. So it's a 10-day course.
Yeah.
But it is very effective in terms of decreasing symptoms, as well as decreasing your how much you shed the virus.
So if you're, I believe it's 1 in 10, they say, which is 10% of people have a rebound with that drug. Makes you wonder, should we even take it? However, if you're susceptible to something dangerous, winding up in the hospital, you have complications, it could be a lifesaver, right?
That's absolutely true, and unlike some of the other immune things that we used, especially early on, where we use the immune plasma, which is very specific for whatever is circulating. Paxlovid will work no matter what the variant is. And so that's what so I strongly encourage people, especially people that are vulnerable, to make sure that they're getting it. And while there may be, if it's a 10% rebound, that means that 90% do not. So
right. That's a good point.
To realize the other side of that coin also.
So I try to avoid looking at the side effects with medicines, because when you do, you're not going to want to take the medicine. So I didn't look at it. However, I took Paxlovid, and in my first dosage, middle of the night, I get up and have to go to the bathroom, and I can't go. So I'm very sensitive to a lot of different medicines. In fact, I had a real problem with my kidneys when I had my surgery. So I stopped taking it for fear that if I felt that way after the first dosage, what I didn't want to do is to end up shutting down, because if that happens, I'm going to wind up in the hospital. So I stopped taking it.
Yeah, so it is important to know at least what the most frequent side effects are. I mean, if you read the package insert, you know that they have to, the drug companies by regulation have to list anything that can happen more than 1% of the time. So it can be a pretty long list, even though it's a very rare thing. But the reality is that, you know, if you look at that and if you say, oh, well, if I had that, then there would be issues, then that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't take it. You just, to your point, you just say, okay, what do I need to be looking for so that I should modify what I'm doing?
And by the way, that was not one of the side effects listed, but it even maybe was a coincidence. I don't know. I wasn't taking any other medicine, so. But I've gotten through it without the medicine. So, Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know what Dr. Hall feels about this treatment, but Lance and Leah is messaging in this morning. Andrew, see if Bill would like me to drop off some homemade Mezzafaro's chicken soup. Nothing better for fighting COVID or the flu.
Mezzafaro's does an incredible job, and there is something about chicken soup, right?
So there is something about chicken soup, and what I will say, what it is first and foremost, it's fluids, and whenever you're sick, your body will increase its metabolism and therefore uses more water, and so it's easy to get dehydrated. So drinking is important, and chicken soup is a great way to get fluids. It also has good nutrition, so it's not, you know, cookies or anything like that. So it's got protein and it's got carbohydrates. It's got all of the things that you need to keep your body's engine running. And so yes, I would say that it is good. Plus, honestly, it is good comfort food. So if you like chicken soup, have at it.
Have at it. All right, Doc, we appreciate it. And, you know, it's very interesting when we first were talking about COVID, and we talk about as you're entering 2024 and getting ready for retirement. When we first talked about COVID, the thought was that maybe if you got it, you'd have the immunity in you and you would not get it again. Boy, and that, of course, changed after a few months. But, boy, we were very wrong in the beginning on that.
Boy, that is one of the lessons that we definitely learned early on with this. It was something we were looking forward to, which unfortunately didn't come to pass.
Yeah. All right, Doc, as always, thank you. Have a wonderful week. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And please, everybody, just as you can hear with what's going on with Bill, please take care of yourself, take care of the community, and please be safe.
All right. Thanks so much. Dr. Kent Hall from MVHS. All right, Andrew, we'll do the free money question if you guys are good with that.
Sure.
But we're going to have to do it in a way where I call them from here, so we'll have to get the number in advance. We'll get to that. First, though, let's do an update on the news. And also coming up, Randy Gordman. We'll speak with Randy in Rochester about the crash outside the Kodak Center at the Moe concert that happened just a few days ago on New Year's Eve. We'll get into that and what they know today. Some really interesting stuff coming out as we're learning more about the person who actually did this. It's just, it's tragic, and we'll get into it coming up in a few minutes. Stand by. All of that coming up at WIBX.
Oneida County Office of Continuing Care has immediate openings for program nurses, starting at over $55,000. Nurses work a 35-hour week conducting patient screenings and home health assessments. Join our team and make a difference. Apply today at OneidaCountyJobs.com. That's OneidaCountyJobs.com.
Hi, this is Scott Hayes.
And this is Jill Hayes from New York Sash.
You know, honey, the first time you said, never let a window salesperson into your home, I thought you were nuts. But you were right.
Like there was really any doubt.
Seriously, so many people have told us how nice it is to shop in our beautiful showroom where there's never any high pressure.
Yep, and it's even nicer when we can help people save.
Like right now, buy 2 New York Sash windows and get 1 free.
We get slow during the winter and we need to stay busy, so you get the best deal we make all year. Buy 2 windows, get 1 free.
Buy 4, get 2 free.
Buy 6 windows, get 3 free. There's no end to the savings.
And there's no need to invite a pushy salesperson into your home. Instead, stop by the New York Sash Idea and Design Center, where you can browse at your convenience.
We're open Monday through Saturday on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro.
These savings are only available for a limited time, so come in today. And as always,
let our family take care of your family.
Most folks don't realize this fact. Our country is only 4 missed meals away from chaos, and those meals can vanish fast. In a national emergency, fragile supply chains break down and will wipe grocery store shelves clean in a matter of hours. Before this happens, there's something you should do today. That's stock up on emergency food storage. My Patriot Supply is the company millions of American families trust for their emergency supplies. You should too. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each kit contains delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. My Patriot Supply also sells large solar generators, gravity-powered water filtration systems, off-grid room heaters for when the power goes out, heirloom seeds, and other survival necessities. Order by 3 p.m. and your items ship the same day, fast. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now. Those who know what's coming prepare before the chaos starts. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Do you miss the simplicity and reliability of a landline?
With a landline service, conversations were never cut off because your internet stopped working.
Your grandkids couldn't lose your home phone on some playground.
Now landlines are back and better than ever with Community Phone. Community Phone offers home phone service starting at just $39 a month. And today, get 50% off your first month when you call 1-866-516-9023. With Community Phone, there are no contracts, no internet needed, no complicated wiring. A classic landline, but with the latest upgrades like caller ID, voicemail, spam call blocking, unlimited nationwide calls, and more. And the phone works even if the power goes out. You can even keep your own phone number or get a new one. You can set up your home phone service with Community Phone in 30 seconds, all by yourself. Today, get 50% off your first month when you call 1-866-516-9023. Call 1-866-516-9023 today to get 50% off. 1-866-516-9023.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time, 7:36. I'm Andrew Dominio. Still at 32 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update is brought to you by Adirondack Home Furniture. A Syracuse area man has been identified as the driver who caused a fiery crash in Rochester on New Year's Day. According to authorities, 35-year-old Michael Avery drove a Ford Expedition filled with gas cans into a rideshare vehicle and also a group of pedestrians outside the Kodak Center on Monday. Avery, 29-year-old Joshua Orr, and 28-year-old Justina Hughes died, and several others were injured. The FBI and law enforcement are asking anyone with information on the case to contact them at 585-428-7157. We'll speak with Randy Gordman in the Rochester area coming up in a few minutes to discuss more details of this case. Members of the state legislature will be back at the state capitol in Albany today to kick off their brand new legislative session. The first few weeks will likely focus on working out an agreement on the state budget that is due April 1st. Other issues that might be discussed and voted on include housing production, health care, cannabis reform, and improving the environment. This year's legislative session is set to wrap up in June. With exercising more being a top priority for people at the start of the new year, the State Division of Consumer Protection is offering tips to help folks avoid gym membership mistakes. It's recommended people review any contract before signing it and to be aware of add-on fees. Knowing termination fees is important if anyone decides to cancel their membership and wait till 2025. State law also requires businesses with auto renewal programs to disclose terms of those offers when consumers are enrolling. And the 5-game winning streak of the Syracuse University men's basketball team has been snapped hard after the team suffered a blowout loss on the road. Malik Brown led the Orange with 26 points as his team was beaten by the Duke Blue Devils. I keep doing that, the Blukes. 86-66, the final score from Cameron Indoor in North Carolina last night. The loss dropped SU's record this season to 10 wins and 4 defeats. Up next for the Orange is a game Wednesday against Boston College. WIBX 950 News Time, 7:38. Your weather forecast is according to Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint. Brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls for all your mobile home needs. It's worth the trip. Go to johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more information.
My Witness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, mostly cloudy, breezy, lake snow and snow showers, especially north. Light spotty flurries locally, a high of 38. Tonight, cloudy, scattered snow showers, low 28. And tomorrow, blustery, turning much colder with snow showers and embedded squalls through the morning, tapering to a few flurries by afternoon as temperatures fall into the 20s. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. Our meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
32 degrees under cloudy skies. It is 7:39.
All right, Andrew, let's do the free money question of the day from the, by the way, the first one from for the year 2024 from the Hobica Law Firm. Let's make it, what do you think on the jackpot this morning? How do we start off the new year?
Smitty, what do you think? We'll leave it up to you. What do you want to give out today?
How much money, Davey? What do you think?
How about $200?
$200.
How about $300?
Okay.
Ooh,
Let's make it $300. But the way it's going to work is you're going to have to, well, you guys know what you're doing. I'll let you guys figure that out.
We'll handle it.
Make it happen. Let's make caller number 2 the one we're looking for, all right?
Sounds good. Caller 2.
Second caller right now at 315-736-0186. Call right now. Caller number 2, your chance at $300 from Hobica and WIBX.
Don't be left out in the cold before the holiday. Call Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning for your free furnace estimate. Smart folks choose Rude energy-efficient heating equipment for their home. Call Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning at 315-829-4100 or visit their website at tri-countyheating.com. Turn that thermostat down with your Rude high-efficiency furnace and stay warm this winter. From their family to yours. Wishing you a very happy holidays.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax-confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Attention options traders. Are you ready to elevate your game to start 2024 strong? Unlock the power of Vantage Point's artificial intelligence, designed to help you master options trading. Picture this: billions of data points processed automatically so you can fix your timing and find explosive trades. Just text the word demo to 813-813 right now to learn how to do this yourself. Improve your premiums, reduce time decay, and optimize your strike prices with ease. Gain the competitive edge you need by joining this free class. Text DEMO to 813-813. That's DEMO to 813-813. Turbocharge your options trading with Vantage Point. Kick off 2024 on top. Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Past results do not guarantee future performance. By texting, you agree to the terms available at VantagePointSoftware.com and consent to receive calls and texts using automated technology about offers or info by or on behalf of Vantage Point. Your consent is not a condition to purchase and can be revoked at any time. Message and data rates may apply. Text DEMO to 813-813.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, here we go. It's time for somebody to have a shot at winning our free money question of the day from the Hobica Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobica, at 315-724-1600. And we start off 2024 with a fresh start, a fresh $100 bill, no 3 of them on the line. And with us right now is Sherry. Good morning, Sherry. How you doing?
Good morning.
Where are you from, Sherry?
New York Mills.
All right, Sherry in New York Mills. $300 on the line. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
You know the rule. You'll have. Now, I have to say that you have 7 seconds, right, to answer. I have to say this question came to me. I wrote it down, jotted it down while watching hours and hours and hours of World War II footage.
It came to him in a COVID dream.
Because what else am I going to do? You sound
that's sounding good so far.
You sound disappointed by the World War II stuff. Okay.
Well, we'll see.
Well, this is going to be a guess, I'm afraid, probably anyway. So whatever comes to your mind, even if it seems crazy, run with it, okay?
All right.
Here's your question. Andrew, you're ready as well?
I'm ready as ever.
Okay. The last soldier from World War II to surrender was Japanese. He was hiding in the Philippines until what year? Ready, go.
1978.
Is it 1978? Wow.
Based on your reaction,
I gotta say, 1974. That was a good guess. Yeah, I mean, you were in the 70s. So 1974. This guy named Hiro Nada was a Japanese soldier, and he was hiding in the jungles of the Philippines until 1974. What a crazy story.
Yeah, I knew the story, and I knew it was in the 70s. I just didn't have the right one.
See, that wasn't such a bad topic for you after all. So, all right.
No.
Well, listen, we're going to give you the Food and Fun card. It's a $25 gift card, and they're going to call you back and hook you up back in the studio, all right?
Okay, thanks a lot.
All
Feel
right.
better.
Thank you so much, Sherry. We appreciate it. All right. Bye-bye. There you have that. Sherry will walk away with a Food and Fun gift card. Congratulations. The year was 1974. If you're watching any of what was happening over the holiday, a tragic story out of Rochester and the band Mo. And as Andrew and I were talking earlier this morning, Andrew, this is a concert where you have a bunch of people who want to harm no one.
Correct.
Just a bunch of peace, love, and let's go out and do whatever and watch Mo for the 45th time.
Yeah, right. There is such a following. A lot of the people probably at that concert knew each other because they travel well as fans to these
fans
concerts.
go from show to show. It's oftentimes it's hard to find someone at a Mo concert that is it's their first concert. Most of these people are multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredible cult following.
Exactly.
But these are not people who want to hurt anybody.
No.
So what do we know about this guy who drove a vehicle into ultimately hitting a ride-sharing vehicle? 2 people killed there. Others killed that were people walking out of the concert. We go to a former WIBX alum, Randy Gorbman, who is in Rochester now. Randy, good morning. What do we know here this morning?
Days ago, Bill, but still a lot of questions unanswered, and that is mainly surrounding this suspect, the one who also died in the crash about a day later, Michael Avery. That is something police and federal authorities still trying to figure out why he did what he did. Just recapping, I know you've gone over some of this, I'm sure, on the air in the last couple of days, but as you mentioned, he got to town. He was living in the Syracuse area, 35-year-old Michael Avery. Then he came to Rochester on December 27th, checked in at a hotel, left his personal vehicle, but rented a large SUV, if you're familiar with the Ford Expedition. And then over the next few days, they even have some surveillance video of him buying some of the gas cans. Had a total, by the time the explosion happened, they found about a dozen gas cans in and around his vehicle when that happened. And again, as you say, just a tragedy. I mean, it really can't overemphasize that. Peaceful concert, people having a good time on New Year's Eve. Concert was letting out, and this was a concert, from what sources of ours tell us, it went longer than expected.
Yeah.
But as they're leaving this large building, here comes the vehicle driven by Michael Avery. Police say looked like he was targeting pedestrians in the crosswalk. And, it's kind of strange to say this. They're almost calling the 2 people, although they didn't plan it this way, who died in the Uber vehicle. They were the passengers that died. Heroes in a sense, in that vehicle, just by happenstance, kind of got in the way of Michael Avery's SUV, so it may have deflected him from hitting even more pedestrians. Still a horrific toll, not just Avery, who eventually lost his life, but these 2 innocent people, nice young people in their 30s. They were identified yesterday, 28-year-old Justina Hughes of Geneva, 29-year-old Joshua Orr, who's from a Rochester suburb, town of Webster, and the driver of the Uber vehicle did survive. But we had about 9 pedestrians injured, most of those non-long.
I think I lost
life-altering injuries.
So that is incredible how that Uber vehicle really, by chance, ended up probably saving countless lives. You can't imagine what that large vehicle would have done to people, and what would have ultimately happened to those gas cans. So his family has come out to say, well, let's start by saying police say no, it seems like no crazy ideology, no ties to terrorism, and his family says they believe it may be undiagnosed mental illness. What do we know on that?
Yeah, and that's all, there's not a lot of background info on him. We were reaching out to some sources on him, got some public records, really nothing remarkable. Syracuse Post-Standard today published a bit of information about him as far as any kind of criminal past, some relatively minor stuff from a few years ago in other states, maybe involving driving under the influence, whether it be marijuana or alcohol, those kinds of things, but nothing extensive, police say, in his background that would indicate this kind of activity. And again, they emphasize, because there were all kinds of wild rumors flying, especially in some of the national media when this first happened, that, they're looking at this as possible terrorism. I'm sure that's always kind of a routine sort of thing up to a point, but it kind of got played up more than it should have because people really didn't have information. Right now, I will say, not that things can't change, but the police searched his hotel room. They searched his vehicle. They found no evidence of any diaries, journals, diatribes. They're certainly trying to go through his social media. But right now, the motive is just a big question mark.
Also interesting that police are asking anyone throughout the state. I mean, I believe he was a graduate of West Genesee High School in the Syracuse area, asking if anybody knows who he is or had any contact with him to reach out to police and maybe assist them in finding out what may have led to this.
Yeah, it's really, again, and it's a lot of head scratching, which happens certainly in investigations, but, as you know, you cover a lot of these things or you hear about them on a national scale, and very often, there is some kind of a link to social media where the guy had a problem with, one person or another. I mean, here's a band that's been around, jam band, been around for a while, Mo. They had, folks may have seen statements on their Facebook. They felt terrible about what happened. Yeah. About this, and what could have motivated him, and again, if it was some kind of mental illness, but what was behind this particular event, this venue, nobody seems to know right now.
And of course, the band Mo tied to the Utica Rome region, some band that we know very well right here. So, Randy, as always, we appreciate your insight. Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you. Thanks a lot, Bill.
All right, thanks so much, Randy Gordman. He is the news director and public affairs director at WXXI Radio TV as well, and online in Rochester, a former WIBX reporter and news director, Randy Gordman. Got a break. We'll come back. A whole bunch of crazy stories from the last few days that I have collected here as we come to you live from my basement once again. It's First News Keeler in the morning, 10 before 8 o'clock at WIBX.
For a limited time at Mattress Express, qualified buyers will get 60 months to pay on any purchase $1,500 or higher with no money down. That includes all brands of mattresses in the store and massage chairs. See store for details.
Why get an updated COVID vaccine? If you're 65 or older, a COVID vaccine can keep you out of the hospital. And if you have heart disease, a COVID vaccine can help you stay healthy. With COPD or other lung diseases, getting a COVID vaccine can keep you off a ventilator. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID. But some people are more at risk. Know your risk and make sure you're up to date on your COVID vaccine. A message from the New York State Health Department.
This year, give the gift of music from Big Apple Music. Locally owned and operated since 1979. Dive in head first with the complete Ibanez bass guitar pack, only $249. Give a 5-piece full-size Mapex drum set, complete with cymbals, stands, and seat for only $399. Big Apple has a great selection of ukuleles and guitars, including Fender, Gibson, Martin & Taylor at the guaranteed best prices. Shop local. Open Sundays in December, noon till 5. Layaway available. Big Apple Music, Commercial Drive, New Hartford, or visit bigapplemusic.com.
Most folks don't realize this fact. Our country is only 4 missed meals away from chaos, and those meals can vanish fast. In a national emergency, fragile supply chains break down and will wipe grocery store shelves clean in a matter of hours. Before this happens, there's something you should do today. That's stock up on emergency food storage. My Patriot Supply is the company millions of American families trust for their emergency supplies. You should too. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each kit contains delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. My Patriot Supply also sells large solar generators, gravity-powered water filtration systems, off-grid room heaters for when the power goes out, heirloom seeds, and other survival necessities. Order by 3 p.m. and your items ship the same day, fast. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now. Those who know what's coming prepare before the chaos starts. MyPatriotSupply.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, so here we go for a few stories that are lingering out there that I think are pretty wild that we haven't gotten to as of yet. From New Year's Eve, and did you see the story, Andrew, out of Seattle, their fireworks problem?
Oh, no, I didn't know that they had fireworks to begin with.
So Seattle launched its New Year's fireworks from its famous Space Needle, but all the smoke, it got so bad that all the smoke ended up blocking the view within seconds. You could not see even the buildings.
Oh, boy.
Here are some comments from people who made videos while the fireworks were all going off. Here we go.
This is a disaster.
On TV, it appeared like the Space Needle was nuked. In other videos online, it looked like it was completely gone, like the Space Needle had disappeared. Washington's Emergency Management Department even posted a photo and reassured people, yes, the Space Needle is still there. A meteorologist explained it was a combination of smoke and fog. The sulfur from the fireworks created fog because it was so humid. We were in Maine vacationing a few years back, 4th of July weekend, and the fog had rolled in right at the time they did their fireworks display. They had a fireworks display. You could not see the fireworks. The fog was so thick coming in. And that's kind of what happened in Seattle. Crazy.
My fireworks that I was watching was the Green Bay, Minnesota game, and boy, was I happy.
Yeah, you had a good outing there.
Yes, and, it's kind of a situation where coming down to the wire, Green Bay. Now, if they make the playoffs, that's a huge accomplishment for our first-year quarterback as a starter, but I don't think we'll make it too far in the playoffs, but it was good to see him get a win against the Vikings, one of the teams I hate most, so that was nice.
What else here? A pothole in Michigan is getting some attention after someone stuck an entire... Listen, we talk about potholes being bad around here.
Yeah.
Someone stuck an entire recliner, a Barcalounger, inside the pothole and then blew it up online. From there, the entire living room scene was created outdoors around the pothole. Here is Ben and Corey talking about visiting the pothole and exactly what they saw.
We've got speakers, a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, and we have some really nice cones that accentuate the chair. That's actually how I'm going to redesign my living room. Road infrastructure really sinks, with all these potholes.
I don't want someone's car to get broken. I don't want something bad to happen.
Get people out here and hopefully inspire the city to make some changes.
Okay, it'll be not long, Andrew. We'll be dealing with that problem of potholes around here.
You got that right.
Let's see here. What did you watch? Did you watch a certain program on New Year's Eve? Obviously, you watched the football game. What did you watch after that?
I think we did the Dick Clark, Ryan Seacrest one.
Did they stay live on what was that? Was that game on NBC? What was it on?
Yeah, it was on NBC. They stayed live for a little bit, but I think they did some post game interviews with Jordan Love and Aaron Jones. But then I think switched off to the Ryan Seacrest one.
Okay.
So I don't know but it was interesting. Mike Tirico and Collinsworth, they were all dressed up in their tuxedos, and I was like, wow, Chris Collinsworth's wearing a green tie. Maybe we have a chance here tonight. And he's usually the biggest one to annoy me. So he wasn't too bad when we were winning, I'll tell you that.
A New Jersey couple got a surprise when they welcomed their twin. This is a great story. welcomed their twin boys on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Ooh.
Twins born in separate years.
That's cool. That's cool.
Isn't that
Different
wild?
birthdays. Yeah, that's cool.
So obviously born on different days, but also different years. Ezra was born at 11:48 p.m. on New Year's Eve on the 31st, and Ezekiel was born at 12:28 a.m. on New Year's Day. Different days and different years. Here's Eve and Billy Humphrey talking about the unique birth of their twins. Here we go.
The doctor was like, well, there's 2 heartbeats. And I was like, let me see. I don't believe you. And I was in shock.
I'm like, what a great birthday gift. I get 2 boys on my birthday, so.
I was still pushing when everyone's doing the countdown, and we just all said Happy New Year in the middle of me trying to push out baby B.
I just know they're going to be world changers, and they couldn't share the same day, right? They needed their own spotlight.
Seeing them in person and seeing their faces, I was like, they're so cute. I'm so glad they're healthy.
It is unique. I don't know if you heard there, but the kid, one of them, was actually born on the 31st, which was the father's birthday. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, it is.
All right, lots to do next hour, including Ryan Nobles from NBC on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
We got to do something. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Biden said that last night about the record surge of illegal immigration when returning from his St. Croix vacation.
Give me the money I need to protect the border.
Now, it's hard to hear him, but he says Congress ought to give him the money he needs to protect the border. But Republicans blame his policies.
The Biden presidency is on pace. At the end of his 4 years, he will have allowed into the country, when you took about the gotaways and everything else, 12 million illegals.
Congressman Jim Jordan and several dozen other House Republicans will go to the border in Texas today demanding one policy change.
No money can be used to process or release into the country any new migrants. Stop the problem right now. Just say we're not going to do. Call a complete timeout.
Former President Trump's lawyers are busy. They filed their attempt to get a federal appeals court to grant him presidential immunity, trying to get the charges dropped in the federal 2020 election-related indictment. The Trump campaign is also going to court in Maine.
Maine's Superior Court is being asked to reverse a ruling from Democrat Secretary of State Shenna Bellows that bars former President Trump from Maine's primary ballot in March. Bellows is the first state election chief to bar someone from running for president because of the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause.
As Fox's Jared Halpern, the former president has not been charged with the crime of insurrection and remains on the ballot in Colorado. The court ruling there kicking him off was put on hold by Colorado's Republican Party appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. Israel is on high alert the day after killing a senior Hamas leader. The concern there is a possible retaliation from Lebanon, where the strike happened.
From the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah or Palestinian factions that could include long-range fire toward Israeli cities. The uncertainty along Israel's northern front comes as the IDF continues to push forward with operations in southern Gaza, going after new Hamas hideouts and infrastructure.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. America's listening to Fox News.
Markets are trembling. Don't be a casualty of economic upheaval. Do what I did and embrace the safety of gold. Talk to the experts at Noble Gold Investments today, and you can claim a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin. With gold at an all-time high, you need to jump on this. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time, 8:03. I'm Andrew Dominio. Still lingering around freezing at 32 degrees. We have cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by the Stanley Center of the Arts, presenting Standards and Stories with Tony Danza April 6th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale right now through Ticketmaster. A Syracuse area man has been identified as the driver who caused a fiery crash in Rochester on New Year's Day. According to authorities, 35-year-old Michael Avery drove a Ford Expedition filled with gas cans into a rideshare vehicle and also a group of pedestrians outside the Kodak Center on Monday. Avery, 29-year-old Joshua Orr, and 28-year-old Justina Hughes died and several others were injured. The FBI and law enforcement are asking anyone with information on the case to contact them. Members of the state legislature will be back at the state capitol in Albany today to kick off their brand new legislative session. The first few weeks will likely focus on working out an agreement on the state budget that is due April 1st. Other issues might be discussed and voted on include housing production, health care, cannabis reform, and improving the environment. This year's legislative session is set to wrap up in June. With exercising more being a top priority for people at the start of the new year, the State Division of Consumer Protection is offering tips to help folks avoid gym membership mistakes or mishaps. It's recommended that people review any contract before signing it and to be aware of any add-on fees. Knowing termination fees is important if anyone decides to cancel their membership. State law also requires businesses with auto renewal programs to disclose terms of those offers when consumers are enrolling. And a woman who was involved in a hit and run nearly 3 years ago has now found out her punishment. Yesterday, a judge sentenced Rolanda Campbell to 5 years behind bars for intentionally striking two people with her car on West Bissell Street in Syracuse in March of 21. Both victims needed treatment for their injuries but ended up surviving. This past August, Campbell pleaded guilty to both assault and DWI. WIBX 950 news time is 8:05. Your weather forecast is according to Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint.
My Witness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint at the WIBX Weather Center. Today, mostly cloudy, breezy, lake snow and snow showers, especially north. Light spotty flurries locally, a high of 38. Tonight, cloudy, scattered snow showers, low 28. And tomorrow, blustery, turning much colder with snow showers and embedded squalls through the morning, tapering to a few flurries by afternoon as temperatures fall into the 20s. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. Our meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
32 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. WIBX 950 news time is 8:06. From the IBEW 43 local sports desk, the Syracuse Orange 5-game winning streak is over as the team suffered a blowout loss on the road. Malik Brown led the Orange with 26 points as his team was beaten by the Duke Blue Devils 86-66 at Cameron Indoor from North Carolina. The loss dropped SU's record this season to 10 wins and 4 defeats. Up next for the Orange is a game next Wednesday against Boston College. In other news, the Giants could be part of history on Sunday if the G-Men are able to score 2 passing touchdowns against the Eagles. It will become the most passing touchdowns allowed by a playoff team in league history. Philadelphia enters Week 18 having surrendered 34 passing touchdowns this season. Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, and Tyrod Taylor have combined to throw 14 touchdown passes for New York, which is third in the NFC East at 5-11. The Jets are parting ways with a veteran playmaker. 4-time Pro Bowl running back Dalvin Cook was waived on Tuesday. According to ESPN, the move was mutually agreed upon, as he also restructured his contract to forfeit remaining guarantees. Cook is now eligible to sign with another team, ready to make a playoff run. The 28-year-old is subject to a 24-hour waiver period. Cook has played in 15 games, carried the ball 67 times for 214 yards. And what else can I tell you here? The Knicks will seek a second win in a row after taking down the Timberwolves Monday. The Knicks are hosting the Chicago Bulls tonight at Madison Square Garden. They're currently third in the Atlantic Division at 18-15. Chicago is fourth in the Central Division at 15-19. Also, Sean McVay, coach of the LA Rams, has agreed to return to Los Angeles next season. The head coach said during the Coach McVay show this week he made a promise that he'd be back for the 2024 season. McVay notably pondered retirement after the 22 season, but decided to keep coaching. The 37-year-old has compiled a 69-45 record with the Rams and led the team to a win over the Bengals in Super Bowl 56. McVay is currently under contract with L.A. through the 2026 season. WIBX 950 News Time, 8:08.
So coming up, we're going to talk to Scott from Kirkville. He has some predictions on Syracuse, some comments from last night. I don't know. There's some new news, Davey, out there about SU football. They are putting together a team and a half for next year. It's unbelievable. We'll speak with him coming up in a few minutes. Legal expert Andrew Reed. First, we take 3 legal stories for 2024, and he tackles them. We'll get to that coming up in a second. Ryan Noble's also from NBC coming up. And I don't know if you know, Andrew, but as I've been stuck in the basement, I've been working on a new song.
Oh, I knew you. Listen, your creative juices are flowing when the COVID is inside of you.
Well,
so.
What are you going to do? You're sitting down here.
I know.
You know, you're stuck here. Your wife won't let you out. What are you going to do? Right?
There's one positive to come out of it.
All right,
new song.
Can I give you a little piece of it? It's not done as of yet.
Sure, let's hear it.
Thank you, Allison. A little piece of it. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Ready when you are.
Yeah? Okay, here, let me see if I can. Test 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay.
Ooh, a little reverb.
I hate my basement. I hate my basement. I hate my basement. Can't wait for my wife to let me out. Huh?
That's pretty good. Well done. Well done.
I'm a little short on words. I don't have many words for it yet.
Sometimes that's the best.
You know, you're
less
right.
is more.
So you take from somebody like a Bob Dylan, right?
Yeah, you've got to be careful because your wife may get used to you in the basement. That's
believe me. She said last night that in the last 6 days, it's the best sleep she's had in 25 years.
Hey, don't give my fiance any ideas because she's right on the verge of that too.
All right, we'll talk to Scott coming up in a second. SU last night, they ran into a 3-pointing bee's nest or something like
Buzzsaw,
that.
whatever you want to
call it. We'll get to that
it.
coming up next to WIBX.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. This holiday season, make your home shine with elegance from Adirondack Home Furniture. Wrap yourself in comfort and create warm holiday memories with family and friends on one of their beautiful sofas or sectionals handcrafted for togetherness. When it's time to eat, Adirondack Home Furniture's dining collection will be the centerpiece of your holiday feast. Celebrate a peaceful escape this year when you gift yourself an Adirondack Home Furniture bedroom transformation from the ordinary to a sanctuary of serenity and relaxation. Handcrafted perfection. Experience the magic of the season with Adirondack Home Furniture. Visit them today and let them help you create a home that's a reflection of your impeccable taste at Adirondack Home Furniture. Horatio Street in Utica at the former Riverside Mall. Browse their inventory online at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Happy holidays from Adirondack Home Furniture, where quality is not expensive, it's priceless.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Oneida County Office of Continuing Care has immediate openings for program nurses, starting at over $55,000. Nurses work a 35-hour week conducting patient screenings and home health assessments. Join our team and make a difference. Apply today at OneidaCountyJobs.com. That's OneidaCountyJobs.com.
You've put off getting a new bed. You really want a new bed. Let's be honest, you probably need a new bed. Kevin Fear from Mattress Express, and I have the answer for you for the new year. Any purchase in the store, $1,500 or more, qualify and sign up and get up to 60 months to pay with no money down. Don't give us a nickel. You heard me right, up to 60 months to pay, no money down. That includes our full lineup of massage chairs. And yes, it includes Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh and Lavish, and more. You can get pre-qualified at mattressexpressny.com. Look for the 15-second express credit app. Stop into any store. No appointment necessary. We'd be happy to qualify you in store, and you can call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. See store for details.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, I want to tell you about the season. Let's see, the Season of Inspiration sales event. It is still going on at Steve Ponte Mazda. Commercial Drive in Yorkville enjoys 0% APR financing up to 60 months on all new 2024 Mazda CX-5s. It's Mazda's way of saying thank you for an incredibly successful year, and they've increased their inventory as well, so take advantage of Mazda's 0% special offer. See the dealership for details. As Ricky says, let's make your deal on a Mazda from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction, where it's always easy to do business. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. On the line right now is Scott from Kirkville. Scott, good morning.
Good morning. I hope you're feeling better, Bill. I'm a little under the weather.
Feeling better.
Good.
We're getting there. So, go ahead.
No, I had a lot of firsts in last year. It was the first to actually seeing two SU coaches in the same year, two new ones.
That's true.
And of course having the Scooter Burger down at Rocky's Waterfront Grill. But the big one was off the bucket list. I actually, the first time I actually made the Keeler review, the best of the Keeler show. I actually made the year in review, so that's a first. I'm honored.
That was huge, and no one
it was.
No one even told me. But congratulations.
Yeah, and if you need it, like a guest host to fill in, I'm more than happy. In fact, I told Jane the barber to keep the back of my head, the hair a little bit longer, because you got that one seat in the studio. We just see the back of the head.
You're right.
I was going to add some highlighters and some extenders just in case, in case I co-host.
That is perfect. Well, you never know.
Yeah.
Anything, believe me, anything can happen.
Yeah.
The fact that we're actually still working after 11
That's
years
amazing.
is amazing.
It is.
All right, let's. What do you want to get into? What do you want to start with? First of all, could we start with obviously the debacle that was the bowl game for Syracuse? We don't have to talk about that, but we can talk about this football team continues to add. What's the new guy they just added? I was reading this morning. He has a nickname.
Is that the tackle that was between Alabama and Syracuse? Is that what you're talking about?
He's like over 300 pounds. He's
300
enormous.
pounds.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. Like it's like hush hush up here, because I've heard rumors how much the quarterback was paid to come to Syracuse, and it's just amazing. I think the INL is the biggest thing, because they're, weird. It's like you're going to have the interim coach now is going to be the defensive coordinator from the A&M. He's bringing players, and it's just amazing how everybody's coming to Syracuse. And what? It worked out good, because what snow? There's no snow in Syracuse.
I know. They were. It's funny. The basketball game the other night, they were talking about how. It was actually mild and no snow. Now last night Syracuse played Duke. It was they stuck with them right on through halftime, but Duke just exploded with 3-point shots in the second half. Syracuse could not keep up.
Yeah, you know, if you've seen a lot of games where if you're playing maybe a better team on the road, you better, if they're not playing that good, you better put some distance between them because usually a good team's going to make a run. And you go and basically go 0 for 9 shooting threes and you're only up 2. Man, I had a gut feeling. I didn't expect them to go 8 for 8, but I knew they weren't going to, because you knew in the locker room they were getting probably a little tongue lashing.
Well, they didn't. They hadn't hit a 3-pointer all first half, and within 30 seconds of the second half, they hit their first. So
Syracuse, Syracuse only down 2, and that's where they had to be up maybe 8 or 9 at halftime. And that's basketball. And to be honest, if you're watching the landscape, did anybody predict Notre Dame was going to beat Virginia by 26?
Right, I know.
And Seton Hall beat Connecticut. And then they lose to Xavier the very next day. Arizona throttles California. Then they get throttled by Stanford. And I thought Connecticut and Arizona probably the 2 best teams that all-around teams, and they're getting beat. So it's just that type of year. It's not much difference between maybe the about the 15th and about the 40th or 50th team, just how well you play that night. And that's unfortunately Syracuse. They played pretty good against Pittsburgh. Yeah, they were able to score against them. And last night in the second half, they just couldn't score. I think they scored 14 points.
Yeah, it was bad
in the last 11 minutes of the game, I think.
Andrew was a happy man on New Year's Eve.
What happened?
Well, you come on, Scott.
What are you talking about, or what?
Green Bay.
Well, as he says, his Packers had a big night.
Oh yeah. I know, Andrew. You're actually a Packer fan. I didn't know that.
I am hardcore.
Is he there or
he? You won't hear him, unfortunately.
You won't hear us. Okay,
the way we have it set up.
Well, Bill, you got to ask him.
I know he's a Bills fan. I tell you, you talk about that, Bill. That's the game. It's amazing how you could go from the outhouse to in-house real quick.
It is shocking that that this is all coming down to. I mean, if you go back 5 weeks, people were saying, that Miami game is going to be nothing. And here we are. Miami's struggling right now, and the Bills, while they have not looked great, they're able to come out and win these games. Do they rise to the occasion? The odds are saying the odds out there increased to 93% that the Bills will make the playoffs.
Yeah, and they were, 5% maybe 3 games ago. The interesting thing about the Dolphins, I'm actually a Dolphin fan, like I know Christine was a Dolphin fan. You go back to that Monday Night Football game where they have a 14-point lead with 3 minutes to go against Tennessee. And it's the first time since 1976 someone came back in the last 3 minutes on the road.
Yeah. Losing you again. I don't know why that happens.
That's the game you're going to point to right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. And let me tell you, the Bills will be in a lot better position without the referees during that. I'm sorry, that Bills-Philadelphia game.
Right.
That's a game they should have won.
Yeah.
But it's also a game when you look at the penalties, it was so lopsided. You have to wonder, what would that game have been had the referees not placed themselves in the game, especially in the first half, and that horse collar situation. I mean, you kind of wonder. But, hey, they can control their own destiny here.
Well, the other game you got to look at is, I guess people kind of forgotten about it, was the 12 men on the field against Denver. That game there.
Yep.
I mean, you're right. Those 2 games, and of course, the infamous New England loss. That was just mind-boggling. But it comes down to it. This is a playoff game. I mean, what's great about this flex thing, I'm not sure Buffalo Miami was the 8:20 game until this
Correct.
happened.
I agree.
Now you got something to look forward to, and it's going to be great. I'm not really a Tua fan. I know I'm a Justin Herbert fan, and if you get into his around his legs, if you watch him throw the ball, he really's got to get into the throw when you throw to the sidelines.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a plant where, Josh Allen just flicks his wrist and the ball goes about 50 yards. Now, let me ask you a question, because you're a Bills fan. I'm watching the New England game. It looked like he was struggling to throw it downfield. Is he having troubles with that elbow? at all in the last couple of weeks.
Let me bring Davey in on it. You're not going to be able to hear him,
Okay.
but I'll tell you what he says. Davey, I know there was an injury at the end of the game, but they say that really didn't affect him.
Yeah, he got hit there towards, like you said, towards the last 2 minutes, and I think the shoulders bother him just a tad bit for him to. He's overshooting, overthrowing like Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I got. Well, first of all, it's interesting. So you weren't able to hear that, but he
Right.
basically said, with the injury at the end, but the general belief is, even though he says he's at 100%, you kind of feel like that shoulder may still be bothering him.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. But I got to say though, it doesn't help when the ball is on and your receivers are dropping the ball. That was one of the huge problems in the game against New England, is the receivers weren't catching the ball.
Right. That there's a guy that I don't know why he doesn't play as much, but when he's on the field, he seems to be very active as Shakira.
Yeah.
He must be averaging about 20 yards a catch, because when he catches the ball, it's downfield. But yet, he's not on the field for a lot of plays. I don't know if it's just because of his size, they're worried about him getting worn down. But if you go back to the Cincinnati game last year in the playoffs, he had 2 great catches, and all of a sudden I don't see him on the field. And he had that nice catch against the Chargers, if you remember. Looked like he scored a touchdown, and he was called down. But he seems to be with Diggs. With Diggs is getting all the attention. He's got the speed to go deep.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're kind of using him more, but he's not on the field as much. And we'll see what happens against Miami, because I think Miami's defense. And I'm a Dolphins fan, and I thought they've been suspect the whole year, is that good teams have moved the ball on them. And I'm sure the Bills are thinking about come out and move the ball on Miami. And it's going to be a great game. I'm glad that it's in Miami. I'm glad that it's going to be good weather, so we can have both teams go up and down the field, and we don't have to worry about wind and rain and stuff. I'm sure Bills fans probably wish it was that way.
You remember last time we were dealing with that, the heat was so bad in Miami.
Right, and that was early in the year, though, right?
And we won't have that this time. One last question.
Yeah, sure.
What are you? What's your take on the penalties that have actually changed the outcome of games this week? I mean, there were some really controversial calls.
Well, the thing I didn't understand about the Detroit-Dallas game, I assume that's one you're talking about.
17. The Cowboys had a 17-13 lead.
Yep.
Intercepted Goff at the Lions' 29-yard line, 2:05 remaining. Pollard's 7-yard run on the ensuing play was called back after Dallas tight end Peyton Hendershot was called for tripping. The Cowboys then faced a 1st and 25 of the Lions' 44. Your take on the controversy there?
You're talking about that, or actually the 2-point conversion?
The 2-point conversion. That's
yeah.
Why not kick the ball and go to overtime?
Well, that's the part. Now, the part I have a problem with the referee is that he walked away from the player like he's in a hurry. The clock wasn't running, and watch it again. He's almost running toward the ball. And
okay, yeah,
I'm why is he running away from the player? And
so this was the substitute, the active.
Right.
Now informing the refs that it looked like he went over there. They tried to tell him. But how much
walking away from
how
him.
much do you have to do, because you're about to run a trick play, right?
Yeah.
How much do you have to do to bring attention to it? I mean, it should be done somewhat discreetly. Yeah, that was definitely, I felt, on the ref, and it cost him.
And then I agree. Once they backed it up, trick him, kick it.
That coach is so headstrong. He was angry. He should have made the decision to kick and go to overtime.
Right.
Once it was backed up, and but they clearly got screwed. I feel.
Yeah, they got. The other thing is, this guy. You're right. He's too aggressive. But if you remember, right before halftime, he had a 4th and goal at the 4, down 7-3. I thought he's going to kick it, because remember, Lamb actually fumbled the ball. Looks like he's going to score.
Yep.
They had them, and you got to get something out of that, because wow, we just escaped. instead of just being down 7-6 at halftime, they go for it, and you're 4 yards out. I mean, I know, and they missed it, and then they're down 7-3 at halftime. So you're right. He looks like he gets real emotional.
I think he's a hothead, and I like the aggressive the aggressive approach, going for it on fourth down. They do it more than anybody else. But I just felt that after that penalty, what are you doing? Kick the ball at that point.
Right.
Take it into overtime and have your chances there. And ultimately, because of it, they lose the game.
And they could have been in the number 2.
Completely,
Philadelphia losing.
Completely changed everything.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
All right,
it's
good
crazy.
Stuff there, Scott. We
All right,
appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Yep.
Andrew, do you have anything to add, Andrew Dominio?
No, I would just say maybe get his take on the college football playoff championship game.
Yeah, coming up next week, of course, we saw the 2 games this
Exciting
week.
games. Very
what are
good
your
games.
thoughts on national championship?
You asking me, Bill?
Yeah. Football national championship.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think we even talked about this way back. I saw Washington play Boise State the first game of the season. I think it said, I think you might have your national champion there. They have the best passing schemes in college football. If you watch the game and stayed up, they got great receivers, but their passing schemes are incredible. They got a quarterback that kind of reminds me of Russell Wilson throwing deep. He has that lift where he throws it and lost it, and you can run underneath it. And he's pretty good. The only thing I'm worried about is I thought Washington's defense would be better against the run, and I was disappointed because Texas is more of a passing team too, and that's the only thing that scares me. If Michigan could be like Army, where they just play takeaway and just grind it, but I think Washington's got a great chance, and I hit them over 29 points. You can actually bet individual teams over under, and I'm looking for the same thing this week. It's 55. They're down 4, so I think they're going to be about a 24-point probably team total for them, and I think that's definitely a hittable.
I thought the Michigan-Alabama game was very exciting. What a game that was.
Yeah. How would you almost lost it on a safety with that punt guy?
Yep.
Would that be the ultimate?
How he got out of there, I have no idea. I have no
By
idea.
half a foot.
Yeah. And I don't remember, did he end up completing the pass and getting a first down? I can't remember what happened there. No, they didn't. It was incomplete.
Yeah, I was going to say they didn't. They scored with about 2 minutes to go, but
yeah,
it was an interesting game. At the last play of the game, didn't understand it. Your season's on the line, and your quarterback's going to run up the middle. Don't you at least roll him out with the
completely?
Option?
I mean, you just knew it was going to. The minute you saw him going straight up the middle, I mean,
yeah.
What are you thinking there? I mean, that was the.
Yeah,
I felt it was a very bad call. Get outside.
Very good.
So Scott, I do want to ask,
thanks, guys. Have a nice guys weekend, and we'll talk to you maybe after the Syracuse is off. To go, by the way, Michigan State, Kathy, they beat Indiana State on Saturday. There was a nip and tuck. They won by 12. And to be honest, I'm not sure when they play next. It might be Thursday.
All right. Good stuff there, Scott. Thank you, man.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
You too now.
All
Bye.
right. Coming up, we'll speak with Andrew Reed. We take 3 legal stories, some good ones here this morning, to kick off 2024, and he breaks them down for us. We'll do that next through Fox News Radio on WIBX.
With so many mesothelioma lawyers, how do you choose the right firm for you and your family? I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and here's my advice to you. Do your research. Results matter. Reputation matters. Last year alone, our team recovered over $1 billion for our clients. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited.
Call 800-602-2200. That's 800-602-2200. Call now. This year, give the gift of music from Big Apple Music. Locally owned and operated since 1979. A full-sized guitar is only $99. Want to go electric? Give an electric guitar and amp for just $199. Electric keyboards starting at $99. And full-size digital piano starting at $299. Big Apple has a great selection of ukuleles and guitars, including Fender, Gibson, Martin & Taylor at the guaranteed best prices. Open Sundays in December, noon till 5. Big Apple Music, Commercial Drive, New Hartford, or visit bigapplemusic.com.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 five-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 800 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 800. LumeDeodorant.com, code 800 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 800.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, we're back here, and it is the time there where we get a chance to speak with Andrew Reed, who is the legal expert through Fox News Radio. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning. Glad to be back.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year to you.
All right, so we're hoping for a better 2024, although I fear it's going to be crazy. Let's start with some pretty cool stories. I love and this is very interesting to note, it's the Mickey Mouse character has now entered public domain, but it is the original Mickey Mouse, right? The Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse. So here's
correct.
Here's the story. With this being in public domain, what does all of that mean?
So it now means that with the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse, that people can start using it for creative purposes, and Disney cannot stop that necessarily. Now, there are some questions right now whether they have other, what we call intellectual property rights, particularly in the trademark world, that might be able to stop this from going on. But what the crazy part is it entered public domain on New Year's Day, and there have already been announced at least 2 movies and 2 video games that are in the, what as some have talked about it in some of the reports, a slasher/horror type film and game genre.
Yeah, interesting. So, are you saying that they could actually stop? There may be some legal options they have to stop the Steamboat Willie version from getting out?
Potentially, though it is kind of an interesting take on it, and it'll be one to see where they try to go with that, to see if they can really push that.
Topic number 2, Google settles a $5 billion privacy lawsuit over tracking people using incognito mode, specifically on their Chrome platform. So, you're a user, you go to incognito, you think nobody's following you, and it turns out Google was watching.
Yes, and apparently there is actually some reports that this is actually going on, and it's one, unfortunately, it did occur. And a group found out about it and filed a lawsuit, and they are now in the process of getting that settled and getting all the terms finalized. And once the judge signs off in probably around mid-February, then the real work will begin to determine who is eligible and who gets paid.
Okay. I just entered into a class action lawsuit the other day where, let's see, what was it? Oh, it was something to do with Apple and their family plan where, it seemed like everything you could, all the apps were shareable. But then it turns out that maybe they weren't. So the problem with these class action lawsuits is the best amount that I'm going to get in a multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar lawsuit is about $30.
Unfortunately, that is right.
Yeah, it's the way it goes. Now, the attorneys make some dough.
Most of the time they do.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a lot of college loan bills, right? You got to pay off that stuff.
Exactly.
All right, topic 3, Israel's high court strikes down. This is big, and I really thought there would be some sort of a challenge to this when this story first came out. And that key law where Netanyahu's controversial judicial overhaul plan. Let's start with what the reform was that Netanyahu had pushed.
Yeah, so essentially what had come out was Netanyahu had pushed to say that their legislature, their parliament, would have final say on the legality of any new laws and that their court system could not actually come back and change that. Obviously, their court system said, no, that's incorrect. Our laws are pretty explicit on this. No, we have to have final say. So this is one, it'll come down to a real determination here, and it'll be kind of a wait and see to see how it goes and is finalized.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of be waiting to see how Netanyahu's camp will actually respond to that.
Ultimately, over time, it would give the executive branch the ability to really increase its power over time, right?
Potentially. It's one, It does have a lot to say there.
Yep. All right, interesting stuff as always. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Andrew,
You're welcome.
Andrew Reed, thank you.
Absolutely. Glad to be on.
Have a great day. Andrew Reed from Fox News Radio. Coming up, we'll talk to Ryan Nobles from NBC. River Hills Properties goes into 2024. That's 2024. Reminding you that if you're going to be selling your home, this is a great opportunity as slowly but surely interest rates are coming down. And it's a perfect time right now while things are quiet to be able to get the process started. And maybe, as Andrew will explain here, your home could actually be in the spotlight. Not a bad time to sell a home, Andrew.
Yeah, never a bad time, especially in the winter months when inventory is especially low. We've been perpetually in a low inventory state for quite some time, but in the winter, there's not much out there. So your house will shine to prospective buyers. And the good thing about people buying in the winter is if they're buying this time of year, they're in a desperate need usually for a home. So there's a lot of factors that go into it being a good time to list, especially we're going into an election year. Interest rates will start to creep down and prices will go up. So if you've ever thought about listing the home, contact River Hills Properties.
And the benefits of using River Hills and, of course, having your listing agent there when the house is shown. I can't stress this enough.
That's huge.
How it made such a big difference for us when we sold our home.
Yeah, it's we're there for every showing. We're there for the inspections of your home, appraisal, final walkthrough. Anytime you wish you could be there but can't, we'll be there for you.
All right, good stuff. It's River Hills Properties. River Hills online is riverhillspropertiesllc.com. You can call them at 315-896-1009. Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. Also want to tell you about Collis, Fred F. Collis & Sons. You know, we're seeing colder weather moving in. We've had, obviously, a mild winter. Up at this point, we normally would have about 3 feet of snow on the ground. We've had about 6 inches collectively since October, November. I mean, we are way behind, and the cold weather has been behind as well. And that's become a bit of the norm over the last 10 years. But things will get cold. This weekend could be a big change as we could see some real winter weather this weekend. And the question is, are you ready? Is your house energy efficient? Collis can help with a free assessment. They'll come in and pinpoint the place in their energy assessment where you're losing your energy dollars, comfort issues, et cetera, all there at River Hills. All there at Collis. You can tell I'm doing 2 things at once. I'm saying all the wrong things. Collis, efficiency upgrades during the assessment. They could give advice anywhere from changing your LED bulbs to weather stripping to maybe appliance changes. Maybe your freezer or refrigerator is not efficient. And there's money out there to help. The assessment is absolutely free, and Collis could actually walk you through a program that could end up getting you government dollars and assistance, rebates, and even grant money out there to make your home energy efficient. Call today, 315-768-2323. Get the assessment done. There's no obligation whatsoever. We had it done at our home, and they helped us out when it comes to saving money on the energy bill. Fred F. Collis & Sons, heating, cooling, and insulation, 315-768-2323. Ryan Nobles from NBC, first time for 2024 on the radio with us. He's next on WIBX.
Hey, trailblazing business owners, tired of blending into the background? It's time to turn up the volume and make your mark with a podcast that screams, "We're here, and we mean business." Podcast Plus gives your brand the opportunity to join the podcast revolution. It's time to show that you and your company are the experts by creating engaging content that captivates and entertains. Head to mynewpodcast.com and connect with experts to create a podcast that will allow you to connect with your audience on a personal level, so you can break through all the noise. Plus, we offer professional script writing, pre- and post-production, graphic design experts for a captivating page, and distribution on all major platforms. All this produced from our state-of-the-art studios. Sign up today at mynewpodcast.com, or for more information and to get a free consultation with a podcast expert, call 888-324-0035. That's 888-324-0035. Enhance your brand with your own podcast today and reach new clients 24/7. Call 888-324-0035. That's 888-324-0035. Or sign up now at mynewpodcast.com.
Don't be left out in the cold before the holiday. Call Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning for your free furnace estimate. Smart folks choose Rude energy-efficient heating equipment for their home. Call Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning at 315-829-4100 or visit their website at tri-countyheating.com. Turn that thermostat down with your Rude high-efficiency furnace and stay warm this winter. From their family to yours. Wishing you a very happy holidays.
There's no better time than the new year to help protect your identity and finances. LifeLock detects potential threats to your identity that you may miss on your own. If you do become a victim, a U.S.-based LifeLock restoration specialist will work to fix it. LifeLock is the New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Save 25% off your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com. Promo code CLAY to save 25%. That's lifelock.com, promo code CLAY.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Apparently, all it takes is for me. And we're back on the Phil Stern Show. Live here this morning. Give you an idea. It may sound a little bit different. The studio, if you're watching on YouTube, is Andrew and Davey in studio. They'll give you a little wave. I'm living in my basement. It's the end of it, so I'm hoping by the end of the week I'll be back in studio. Who knows? Maybe even tomorrow. But it is what it is. Yeah, Ryan and I were just talking. Ryan, it's the fourth time I've had COVID.
I don't know. The CDC should be on the phone with you right now.
They should be.
You should be like cooped up in a lab somewhere in Atlanta with all kinds of things poked into you, trying to figure out what's going on here.
Well, we've actually nicknamed the basement test tube. So we're I gotta say though, you think you've got your basement all set up and you're happy with it, but until you're stuck there,
and nowhere else to go,
else to go, it's a pain in the neck. Okay, well, Happy New Year, Ryan.
Happy New Year to you, Bill. I'm sorry this is the way your New Year is starting.
Well, don't you have a feeling, just a little bit of a feeling when, I was watching all the, because that's all I have to do in the basement is watch TV, watching all the programs. And, there are, by the way, way too many New Year's Eve programs now.
There used to only be one.
There used to be one.
Now there's like 15. Yeah.
There are now 15, and they're almost all poorly produced. They're just horrible. And
90% of them are not even really live. There's like one person.
Oh,
and they
really?
Make it seem like they're live. Yeah.
I'm
not going to say
that.
which ones, but
yeah.
You got to look closely. Very few of them of the programming is actually live.
Well, I think that CBS in Nashville was definitely live.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
if the ball is dropping and that kind of thing.
I don't think the CBS one was live, to be honest with you.
Oh, I didn't see any of them.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it was just they've all got stuff going on, and you're right. They're making it seem like it's live. My favorite was the Spectrum. Actually, the CNN was definitely live. Holy cow! That was like one giant drag show. It was like a drag queen show. The whole thing, it was unbelievable. And they're drinking and they're cocktailing. They're getting drunk by midnight. It was something to watch.
Well, when I worked at CNN, it used to be my job on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day to be the fill-in anchor because all the other real anchors were off. And so I would always be, and most of the time I'd be in New York for that. So I'd be around the planning of it. The guy, I don't think he's still the executive producer, but the guy that was executive producer at the time was a buddy of mine. And it's quite the production. They pull out all the stops for sure. Yeah.
Oh, they do. Now, it was interesting to see normally the minute the ball falls. Have you done Times Square at all?
I've not. I actually, the one year I was working in New York, I had a hotel room with a view of it. That's the closest I've done. I've never actually gone down in the mess.
And it's a mess. But they didn't leave right away. Normally, midnight hits and everybody's gone. But apparently, there was a police chase. Somebody coming up the wrong way on Broadway and smashed into a bunch of pedestrians. And for that reason, they must have done a lock in place. Or a stay in place, whatever you would call that, and people weren't leaving on New Year's Eve. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, I know that they were super concerned about security for obvious reasons, so that doesn't surprise me.
All right, well, what do you, are you, obviously we'll get to this week coming up. We'll also get to the Buffalo Bills, because we have to talk about it. But what do you, I just have so much fear in my mind when I think about everything that is happening right now and is coming up here in 2024, it makes me worry. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know if worried is the necessarily the word I'd use to describe myself, but I definitely have a lot of trepidation and concern about what the next 8 to 9 months are going to look like. 10 months leading up to the election. I don't think, we've lived through unprecedented times over the past 5 years. We need to go back to the 2016 election and then the COVID pandemic and everything that's happened in the January 6th insurrection and on and on. But I don't know if this country, outside the Civil War, will experience as tumultuous a year as I think 2024 portends to be.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got a unbelievably divisive presidential election with two candidates who most of the country do not want to vote for. You've got, a former president of the United States facing the prospect of 4 criminal trials, all 4 of which could result with jail time if depending on how the process plays itself out. You've got the president of the United States' son facing a criminal trial, which could end up with him going to jail, and then the specter of an impeachment inquiry. And then I haven't even gotten to the possibility that Congress may not be able to cobble the votes together to pass a spending bill, and we could face another government shutdown right at the time where the economy seems to be heading in the right direction. So, there's just so many massive challenges that this country is going to face over the next 12 months. And I really don't have any way to predict how it's going to go. My father's in town this week helping me with a project, and he said to me, he goes, "Do you think Trump could really go to jail?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't think it's not an impossibility. I put it that way. But I at the same time, could I see it happening? I don't know. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around it. But
I can't imagine.
The uncertainty, I think, is where most of the anxiety lies. Right?
I can't imagine that you would see. I find it so surreal to the point where I could not imagine it happening. Even though we've lived through all of these stories and all this stuff, and I completely believe what happened on January 6th was horrific, and I think, at the very least, the former president did nothing to stop it, and certainly his words seemed to incentivize people, but certainly nothing was done to stop it. But I just can't imagine. And the other part of this is I feel like the people should vote. It should be the people who put the president in place and not the court system taking somebody out of contention. That's my personal belief, and that's from somebody that's not a Trump supporter. So it's going to be very interesting to see, and I do fear also I do fear how people will react to all of what is happening right now. So it's I don't know.
I completely understand where you're coming from on that, and I understand, and there's as many Democrats as there are Republicans that are really concerned with the idea that secretaries of state or even state courts or even potentially the Supreme Court could even prohibit Donald Trump from running for office because of what happened January 6th and with the absence of a criminal conviction. But it was interesting. I was filling in on our Meet the Press weekly show last week, and we had Carol Lambs, one of our legal analysts, was talking to me about it. She said that she didn't think people were appropriately looking at it through the correct legal lens. And my history, Bill. I know a lot about ballot access from the time that I tried to run for the state assembly 20 years ago. And the bar of ballot access is not nearly as high of a threshold that you have to cross that you do for a criminal conviction, right? So, these boards of elections that decide who gets on the ballot, they're not a criminal court. They have a separate set of rules by which they judge whether or not someone's eligible to run for office. And in my case, it was whether or not my petitions were filed correctly. And, the case that she made is that it's a pretty black and white reading of the 14th Amendment, that if you are a participant in an insurrection, you're not allowed to run for office in the United States. Now, I guess the murky area is whether or not you would define Donald Trump's role as participating in the insurrection.
Well,
and maybe that's why you need the criminal court to decide that. But we shouldn't conflate the idea that you're prohibited from running before, that you have to be convicted of a crime first.
You're right. It happens every day.
Those thresholds are very, very different. Yeah.
And listen, I think that in Maine, I do think that the Attorney General, based on their law, Secretary of State there had the legal, under their laws, had the legal right to do what she did. Now it's appealed. He'll be on the ballot in Maine until a higher court, the Supreme Court, actually deals with it. But at the end of the day, people saying that, she's broken the law. I don't believe that's the case. At the same time, I feel that I'm very uncomfortable with us being in a situation where we're removing somebody from the ballot. But you're right. We do it every day in local races. Just ask Jim Zecca and Ryan Nobles, right?
Yeah. And, the other thing I would say about it, too, Bill, is, and I completely understand the desire and why it would work better if we put this in the hands of voters and allowed voters the ability to say whether or not they believe Donald Trump was complicit in the insurrection and whether or not that's a disqualifying characteristic. But the problem with Donald Trump is, and why he's different from any other candidate that has run, is that we have no guarantee that Donald Trump's going to accept the results of that election.
Right.
So at what point do you have to use the powers of the Constitution that was written for this exact scenario in many ways, where you say, the framers, and I guess it wasn't the framers because they wrote this part after the Civil War, was that to prevent this from happening in the future, because it's not enough just to keep it in the hands of voters, if someone's not going to respect the will of the voters. There has to be some mechanism in place for us to protect the democracy, the democratic process, for someone that's not going to abide by the peaceful transfer of power. Now, how many opportunities do we give Donald Trump in this regard? Do we say this time, well, okay, well, we'll do it this time. We'll let him vote. We'll let them vote again this time. And then maybe he'll accept the results this time. He's already basically said that he's not going to accept the results unless he wins. So at what point do you have to rein it in? I think that's a question a lot of these legal scholars are grappling with right now.
And the part that I don't think our forefathers really thought all that much about, but maybe they did, is that Civil War era where, and I guess they did. Otherwise, we wouldn't. Our elections for president wouldn't be the way they are. But that they feared the possibility that the public wouldn't get it right. And during the Civil War, that was certainly the case, right? Half of the country was absolutely against, we were a divided nation. So, and you may have seen that also during the Civil Rights Movement. There are certainly times in our country where we've seen where the country is completely divided. And smarter minds must prevail. And I know that sounds so un-American, but it isn't. Think of the Electoral College and why it actually exists.
Right. We aren't a majority rules country, right? A majority rules country suppresses diverse viewpoints. It suppresses minorities. It suppresses religious groups. That's why we live in a representative republic. And that's the reason that we have 2 senators from every state and then the House of Representatives divided up by population so that farmers will.
I got you breaking up there again, Ryan. I think I got you back now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the point I was making.
Yep. Go ahead. And I did lose you again. I don't know why that's happening.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, I got you now. The point you were making
was that, the way that the framers set the Constitution and set the government is as a representative republic where everybody had the seat at the table so that you'd have farmers who are represented, you have people in inner cities, you have people from different religious groups, and it's not just, the majority of the country that makes all the decisions. And, there's a checks and balance to this system. And this is one of those checks and balances. And the question is, how do we execute that check and balance? And I think, getting through this rocky patch is going to be a real test for our democracy.
All right, I'm going to skip my conversation about Biden and ice cream, and I'm going to go right to the Buffalo Bills. The percentage now is at 90, I believe 93%. The Bills will make the playoffs. A lot has to happen or they win on Sunday night. That's what really has to happen. What are your thoughts?
It's crazy to think that they could either be the 2 seed with the potential of 2 home games in the playoffs or not be in the playoffs at all.
I know.
They're just, it is so Buffalo to put themselves in that position. I don't have a lot of confidence, Bill. The last 2 games they've gotten through by the skin of their teeth. I do think they obviously match up well against Miami since they smoked them the last time of the round around, and Miami's got a ton of injuries. But I do think it's going to come down to them winning on Sunday night. The 2 other games, the Jacksonville game and the Pittsburgh game, the scenarios there don't really match up well for the Bills because Pittsburgh is going to play Baltimore and they're probably going to sit everybody.
Yep.
And I think Jacksonville's the better team in the game that they're playing.
They got to win. They got to win.
I think the Bills have got to win. If they win, their path to the Super Bowl is as strong as anybody's outside of Baltimore. I really believe if they get to the AFC Championship game, those will be the 2 best teams left in football. But man, getting there is going to be the biggest. And they put themselves in this position. I told you they weren't a playoff team at the midway point of the season when they were 5-5.
Well,
so if they stumble here, nobody should be surprised.
Let's think of the games they should have won. Philadelphia,
New England the first time.
New England the first time. You've got the Broncos. The
Broncos.
Come on. Yeah. This just shouldn't have. We shouldn't be where we are. Yes, Andrew. I know. I'm going to go to 902. Got it. So my prediction would be. Sunday night, it comes down to the last minute, and I hope we win. That's where I'm at.
That is the life of a Bills fan, right? That's exactly where we're probably going to be. I just don't see a scenario where Sunday night we're watching this game, with the comfort of knowing that they're in the playoffs, but hoping that they could pull a rabbit out and get the 2 seed. It's never that easy for us. We need to prepare that all the chips are going to be on the line for that game on Sunday night.
And here's what I don't want. I do not want us to jump out to a big lead and then go into the half because this happens every single time. We'll take the foot off the gas. We're going to let them get back into the game. It'll come right down to the end. We lose the game. So all I can say is I feel it's going to be close. It's not going to be like that first Miami game. It's going to be close, and let's hope we win this thing. It's more of a flip of the coin as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, these last 4 weeks have been fun. They've definitely redeemed my faith.
No doubt about it. No doubt.
In football.
All right, Ryan, have fun. Thank you, man. We'll talk next week. Thank you.
Feel better, Bill.
All right,
buddy.
WIBX, Utica, Rome.
Markets are trembling. Don't be a casualty of economic upheaval. Do what I did and embrace the safety of gold. Talk to the experts at Noble Gold Investments today, and you can claim a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin. With gold at an all-time high, you need to jump on this. Just use the promo code GOLD. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time 9:03. I'm Andrew Derminio. Right now we are at 32 degrees.